Kansas City.
The Minnesota Twins were looking forward to this trip to Kansas City to escape the brutally hot weather in Baltimore over the weekend. The air temperature has cooled down for them, but not their offense after scoring 19 runs last night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefebvre with Royals Hall of Famer Paul Splittorff. And we began last night talking about how the Twins' M&M boys were down. Justin Morneau's on the disabled list, and Joe Mauer was only hitting .295.
Well, fortunately, they were down to one M&M guy here last night because Mauer did enough damage for a couple of them, just to be sure. And he got going early here last night. That 6-run first inning, he was right in the middle of it, double into the gap in left center. No one way to go attack him because he's good out over the plate. He's good up and down, on balance all the time, and hits with power. He showed us some of that here last night.
And don't tell the Royals anything about how Joe Mauer is having an off season this year. They don't want to hear about it.
Well, it started last year. I mean, opening day, his first opening day, the home run his first time up. Continued to last year. He's doing even better this year. You see what he's done in his career against the Royals, and his average at .343. Now, that's only 10 points higher than his lifetime average. So not doing all that much lifetime, but where he's hot now, I think most people would say he's probably the best player in the American League.
But the last time we saw the Twins, they were looking for a third baseman. That was a very unsettled position for them. Maybe after what Danny Valencia did last night, that's not such a big problem.
Well, Ryan, he's the guy we've heard of the last couple of years as being the third baseman of the future, but that future might be right now the way he looked here last night. He got done with the bat, a 4-hit performance, hit it all over the field, made a couple solid plays defensively. He might be the guy to stabilize that position for them.
Royals hoping for a better start on the mound tonight after Zach Greinke gave up 6 in the first inning. Bruce Chen has struggled in his last 3 starts. Carl Pavano has complete games in his last 2 starts. We'll have more from Kauffman Stadium right after this. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And in addition to the game tonight, this is a big night for Royals Charities and Fox Sports Kansas City. And with more on that, here's Joel out in Rivals.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Joined by Royals Vice President of Community Relations, Toby Cook. The Royals Charities broadcast auction going on all night. First off, where does all the money go?
Well, if you can think back on our golf tournament that we had in May, that went to Special Olympics. Our Diamond of Dreams went to Operation Breakthrough. Our 5K walk and run in September goes to the Autism Alliance of Greater Kansas City. All those groups, plus basically any not-for-profit group that you can think of in Kansas City, from the Boys and Girls Club to RBI to the Salvation Army Children's Center. We help literally hundreds of groups all throughout Kansas City.
All right, so we've got this big board we're going to update all night long. 816-504-4040, all these different items that you can bid on. We've already got people bidding on the broadcast experience, hitting lessons with Billy Butler. There's all kinds of stuff. We'll tell you about it all night long. But there's also something else that people can get involved with.
Yeah, we had a minimum bid of 500 that we're asking people to up it by 100. But if you don't want to do that, you can donate to Royals Charities right away with this auction by calling in for the special ticket package. It's 4 view box seats, an outfield experience pass, $25 gift card to a restaurant, $25 gift card to Sheridan's Blanc Burgers and Bottles, the restaurant, and all sorts of things. And that's only $125. Kind of like when you're in auction and somebody says, hey, will somebody give me $125 and be done with it? That's the way to do it. The 504-4040 number is still the same.
So a couple hundred of those are available, $200 value. You're getting it for $125. Toby, great stuff. We're looking forward to doing this all night long. Encourage everybody to call in, 504-4040. Thanks a lot, Toby.
Thanks, Joel.
All right, that is Toby Cook. We will update you on this all night long. And Twins and Royals coming up next. Ryan and Split have the call.
I use your line all the time now. You ready? How would I know?
I won't know until it's time.
Was that your thought too when you took them out?
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah. So if Whitey came up split, are you ready?
I'm scared enough.
How many? Yeah. Bank, Denard Span is back in there, so Jason Repko will bat second. Joe Mauer is the designated hitter, and Nick Punto is at second base. Drew Butera is the catcher, so quite a few changes for the Twins after coming up with 19 runs on 20 hits last night. Denard Span getting back in there. That's a natural for Minnesota. He's their starting center fielder, out the last couple of games because of food poisoning. Over Betancourt, and for the second straight game, the Twins on the second pitch of the game have a base hit. For Bruce Chen, this is appearance number 3 against Minnesota this year, and here's the Kia report.
Royals really need a stopper here tonight. They haven't had a good performance from a starter since last Wednesday when Zach went against Toronto. Everything must move against Minnesota tonight. Everything he throws must move to the corner, inside, outside, life on it late. That will be a key. And how about putting some zeros up early? Guys have played a lot of catch-up over the last 5 games.
Span with 18 stolen bases, and he has only been thrown out once. Jason Repko at the plate, and he led off and played in center field with Denard Span out. And on the second pitch of the game, doubled to left field, and that was the beginning of a 6-run inning against Zach Greinke. Repko finished with 2 hits and a couple of runs scored.
He didn't have as big a night as some of the other guys on his ball club, but I think you looked at him and you say he was the igniter. Didn't know a lot about him when he got to the ballpark. By the time that game was over, he had a pretty good feel of what he was all about.
And how about the catch he made on Billy Butler's fly ball in the bottom of the first inning?
Minnesota feels they have a better center fielder defensively out there tonight. Twins might have had the best defensive ball game I've seen all year.
Well, I don't know about your scorebook split, but I'll put a little star or an asterisk next to a play on my scorebook when I see a good play on defense to remind me about it. And it might take me a while to start counting those from last night when I look at that game.
I use the circle around the play, and I've got a half a dozen of them.
Two balls, 1 strike on Repko. 88 degrees at first pitch. The wind will move the air around, and right now, pretty good wind from right to left. We started right on time at 7:10, time and 10. Brought to you by The Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCA. And Bruce Chen is convinced that Denard Span is thinking about second base.
Warm night here in Kansas City, but it was so hot in Baltimore over the weekend. Same story with our ball club in New York, that once the sun gets behind the stands, and you mentioned the breeze, it'll be pretty comfortable on the field for these guys because they're all set up.
And Bruce Chen was right. Denard Span was thinking about second base. Bruce picks him off. 1-3-4.
Ryan, most base runners are pretty confident if you're going to go over there once, you're probably going to come again. But if you go that third time, a lot of base runners think he will not come the third time. 2 looks, if it doesn't work, he's anxious to go get that hitter. So throw over the third time, you'd be surprised how many guys you can get.
Second pickoff of the year. And now it's 3 balls and 1 strike on Repko. Repko is a former first-round draft pick of the Dodgers, taken as a shortstop and then moved to the outfield. Skies that one to center field. Rick Ankiel moves into the waning sunlight and brings it down for the second out. Here are the rest of the Royals defensively tonight, presented by Suzuki. Pasednik, Ankiel, and Gordon. Alex moves back to right. Betancourt is back in the lineup tonight. Getz and Butler on the right side. And Jason Kendall is catching game number 2001. Last night becoming the 5th catcher in Major League history to appear in 2,000 games at catcher. And speaking of catchers, Joe Mauer will get half the game off. He's the designated hitter. And rookie Drew Butera will be behind the plate for Carl Pavano. Mauer with his second 5-hit game of the year, and he set a new career high last night with 7 RBIs.
And you see his numbers against the matchup of lefty-righty, what he's done against the lefties so far this year. Much better against the guys from the other side. That's probably no big surprise right there. If you identify one guy in the lineup that Bruce Chen would look at and say, I can't let him beat me, I'm sure it would be Mauer.
Hit hard to left center field. That is a Joe Mauer specialty. And he scoots it by Posednik. Ankiel has to come over from center field. So Joe Mauer in this series is 6 out of 6.
Well, Joe Mauer does such a fine job of staying back. That's where he is able to generate the power. The balance is always there. And they talk about the power numbers being down this year, but that double being number 31 on the year, he now surpassed last year's total of doubles. Had 30 a year ago, 31 so far here in 2010.
Only 3 RBIs off of where he was last year at this point. And now in scoring position for Delman Young, who pulls it foul. No balls, 1 strike. Delman Young had a 4-hit game. He and Danny Valencia with 4. Mauer had 5. And Delman Young with his 17th RBI since the All-Star break last night. And that's tops in the majors.
Delman Young sitting better than 500 on this road trip from Minnesota. Trip started out with him winning 3 out of 4 in Baltimore over the weekend.
Chen hits him with a 0-2 pitch. So with 2 outs, nobody on, a double, a hit batter. And Michael Kadire, who has driven in 10 runs against the Royals this year, coming up.
It's an important pitch for Chen because he wants that cut fastball inside off the plate to set up other things. But right there, Young kind of hanging out over, didn't really make much of an effort to spin out of the way, so he maybe gets off the hook a little bit. Many guys who do that have that padding on the left side, but he did not.
Well, he did everything humanly possible to try and get out of the way of that pitch.
That's the way I read it.
Kadire 1 for 5 with an RBI. He has an 11-game hitting streak. One ball, 1 strike.
And you take a look at the base runners, they can be able to get all the lead they want because the Royals infield is well back with 2 outs in the inning. Check out Young over at first base. He'll go as far out as Billy will let him go.
One and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. This is Bruce's second start against Minnesota. He was the winning pitcher back in early June, giving up 1 run in 6 innings. And then the Twins scored 5 in the 7th inning. 3 of those came after he was out of the game. Royals just barely hung on, 9-8. Line to right field. 1 bounce to Alex, so we'll check out his arm. And the throw is offline. Butler to third. Delman Young is safe, and Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead.
Well, solid base hit to right field, Brian. I think all the teams will probably try Alex Gordon in the outfield because they know that's a new position for him, and he's got the strong arm, but will he be an accurate throw? That throw was way offline, so Mauer has the first run of the ball game. The Royals took a shot over at third base, but everybody will try Alex Gordon for a while until he establishes he can throw well and throw accurately.
And now Danny Valencia. Valencia didn't just have a good game for a rookie. He had a career night last night, rookie or otherwise. 4 hits, a grand slam, which happened to be his first major league home run. He hit 2 doubles and he walked, drove in 4, and scored 4 times. I mean, that's the type of game that Joe Mauer or Albert Pujols would be proud of.
You tend to forget about him a little bit, but he was hot when he came to town. He now has 10 hits over his last 3 ball games. So he was hot when he got here. Made an impression here last night.
Two balls, 1 strike. As Split said at the top of the show, that Valencia is a guy the Twins have been talking about for the last couple of years, but he wasn't necessarily a top prospect right out of the gate. He was a 19th round pick out of the University of Miami in 2006. So he changed some opinions after going from college to professional baseball.
A lot of people thought he would have gotten called up last year because they were a little unsettled at third base. You talked about that, but had a good year at AAA. Was not a September call-up. Wasn't around for the postseason. They went with Matt Tolbert, third base against the Yankees in the postseason. Valencia never got a whiff of the big leagues. They just said, hey, it's the end of September. Just go ahead and home and start working out for 2010.
I remember when we were in Minnesota in early June, and there were reports about the players pleading and campaigning to go get Mike Lowell from the Boston Red Sox. And now Valencia with his 5th hit of the series. Minnesota has 2 in the first inning.
Well, it's left-handed trying to go off speed. The right-handed hitters here in the very first inning. They cut the fastball inside. Well, the cutter was there, but Valencia out in front and able to rip it into left field. Trying to work both sides of the plate, but unable to establish inside here early on tonight. Another base hit, another run across.
So all of this after 2 outs and nobody on base. And this is the 2nd straight start that Bruce has given up 2 runs in the first inning. He lost on Thursday to the Yankees. The Royals scored 2 in the top of the first, and Bruce allowed 2 in the bottom of the first. Really never had an easy inning against the Yankees. Gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. He also had 6 strikeouts. And now J.J. Hardy. Kadire at second base, Valencia at first. They have driven in the runs. 0-2.
Well, starters have fallen on hard times over the last week or so. Had a tough weekend in New York, and now their team ERA for the year is on the high side of 5.31. Tough to win. Runs on the high side of 5.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. Hardy 1 out of 4 with a triple. He scored twice and drove in a run last night. Only Jim Thome, who didn't play the whole game, came out early. Thome was the only starter that did not have at least 1 hit last night. Hardy got a pitch up. Boy, he put a good swing on it, just didn't quite get on top of it.
Hardy's an aggressive high ball hitter. Get him up in the zone. The other guy who's the middle infield, you say, oh, there's not a lot of bat speed there, not a lot of power, but not so with him. He will turn on the high fastball.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Hardy has had some impressive power numbers. Kind of hit a wall last year with the Brewers, ended up in the minor leagues. So when he was playing for Ned Yost in Milwaukee, he had a 26 home run season. He had a 24 home run season.
One of the problems he had last year in that fall off campaign, he did not handle left-hand pitching well at all. 170 average for the year, so had trouble against lefties. There's a problem there.
It takes 30 pitches, but Chen gets out of the first.
passes, gift cards, Sheridan's, Burger Blanc, and much more as well. Call in, press 2, and we've got that, and of course these items to bid on. Guys?
All right, thank you, Joel. So off to a good start, and the bidding will end in the 9th inning. So the Royals down 2-0. Scott Posednik takes his strike. If Scott hits safely tonight, he will tie a career high with a 14-game hitting streak. No balls, 2 strikes against Carl Pavano. Royals lineup is presented by M&I Bank. Posednik, Kendall, Butler. Jose Guillen is the DH. Rick Ankiel back out in center field. Wilson Betamine, Alex Gordon slides to right. Betancourt is back at short. And Chris Getz starts for a 3rd straight game. To the hole on the right side. Punto picks it off and throws out Posednik. Key report on a suddenly hot Carl Pavano.
Well, they've got a nice matchup with Drew Butera behind the plate. He loves throwing to Butera, even though Joe Mauer is the #1 guy. 7-game winning streak, 3rd longest in the American League. Has given up 3 runs or less 8 out of his last 9 times out. How about back-to-back wins against Halladay and Santana in interleague play? He went complete games in both those outings, gave up just 1 run.
Man. And when you start pitching like that, people want to do whatever you do. And Pavano, about a month and a half ago, started growing the mustache. We saw Anthony Slamma last night, rookie reliever, come in with a Carl Pavano-like mustache. Jason Kendall is out. So 2 quick outs for Pavano in the 1st inning. Minnesota defensively, they have committed 34 errors all season. That is the fewest in the American League by a wide margin. They had an errorless game last night. When Joe Mauer first made it to the big leagues, fans were taping the longer sideburns on the side of their faces. Oh, 0-1 to Billy Butler. Billy 0 for 4 last night, 0 for his last 6. But in 30 career at-bats against Pavano, he's hitting .400. And that's past Pavano and into center field.
Ryan, this is part of the batting order the Royals really want to get going, because the 2-3-4 hitters tonight for the Royals, 0 for 9, 0 for 6. Guillen coming up as 0 for 7. That's a combined 0 for 22. Now, it's tough to go out and win ball games, especially high-scoring games, if those guys don't get it going. So Butler has the first hit tonight of the bunch. See if Guillen can follow it up.
And those same 3 guys you're talking about, Split, are hitting .303 or better against Pavano in their careers.
Well, the thing you know about Pavano, he's going to come after you. He's going to pound the strike zone with the fastball, a breaking ball, and a split-finger changeup that he'll use. A fastball is what he calls it. He's one of the better strike throwers in all of baseball, and that's just the American League.
And to add a number to that, he has walked 19 hitters in 141 innings this year.
You know, I think over the last couple of years, I think the best strike guys I have seen have been Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee, and he's right up there in their company.
However, look at what the Royals have done against Pavano in his career. Pavano is 2-1 against the Royals this season, but the Royals really knocked him around back in April. So he has the high ERA overall. In April, at Target Field, and the final game of a series, Pavano gave up 11 hits in less than 4 innings. The Royals scored 7 earned runs. Pavano then won the next 2 against the Royals. Two balls and 2 strikes on Guillen. Pavano coming off back-to-back complete games. He has never pitched 3 consecutive complete games in his career. And not only did he go the distance in his last start, but he threw a shutout against the Orioles. And And look at those last 3 starts. 9 innings, 9 innings, 7 2/3 innings, and giving up just 5 earned runs along the way.
5 complete games for him on the season. Now has 12 for his career. This started some 12 years ago at the major league level. He was one of the young guys on that staff with the Florida Marlins that was a world champion, beat the New York Yankees. And went to New York. Hurt most of the time. The 4 years he was there, he collected a lot of money. Came away with the reputation of being a little bit fragile, but he's not that way now.
Well, he really has Guillen reaching at everything, and Jose just got it off the end of the bat. Last 3 swings, Jose been out over his front foot and swinging with one hand.
So if you're going to continue to do that, you have to keep throwing it slower and slower and slower again if you want to keep him out in that front foot. That ball, not only slow and off speed, but way out of the zone. So part of the reach was not about the velocity, it was about the location, which is out of the zone. Havana really has him set up for the fastball and in the hands now. Let's see if he goes that way. Mentioned Drew Butera behind the plate. Light hitting guy. Very good at calling pitches, and here it is.
Good call. Guillen says he was nicked by the pitch. Angel Hernandez says no. Butler runs, and Jose strikes out. So at the end of 1, Minnesota leads 2-0.
And one of the items that we want to talk about is the grounds crew experience. We've got Trevor Vance and a chance for somebody to come out here, hang out with you and your crew, water the field, prep the field, and really be out there in the middle of it all. Also, they get a chance, I guess, to change the base in the 4th inning and bring that home with them as well?
Right. They're going to be able to come out before the game, help us prep the field. They'll come back into the bullpen with us during the first few innings of the game. Then when we go out to mat the field, they'll go out and change the bases. That's what their reads right there. But you know what? Since this is Royals Charities, they can come out for the entire game. They can go out there with us, sit back in the bullpen with us. I think they get a Royals T-shirt. We're going to set them up with the Royals T-shirt, our sweat gear, our winter coat. They'll walk away with all kinds of Royals ground crew gear.
Wow, so Trevor Vance has just upped it. All right, it wasn't enough. Actually, it was enough, I thought, but he's being very generous to prep and water the field, to hang through 3 innings, to change the base, bring that home with you, get the T-shirt, 2 crown seats, and the premium parking pass. Trevor is now saying you get to hang with these guys all game long and get all the gear, the winter coat, and be able to hang and hear some guys that really know the game. I mean, Monty was saying you guys are a lot of fun to hang out with.
It's quite a crew down there. We have a lot of fun. This crew is probably, I think, one of the best field crews in all of baseball. So not only do they do a great job on the field, they got great personalities, and whoever gets this will have a great time, I can guarantee you.
Right, we talk about it all the time. One of the best, if not the best, grounds crew in baseball, and they get a chance to hang out and do a better job than I did a couple of years ago, right?
Well, there's not much to work on there. They show up, they're going to be in good shape.
There you go. That's all they got to do. Hey, Trevor, thanks for upping that again. 816-504-4040. And, Ryan's got a question. Yes, Ryan?
Well, question number one. Can Trevor hear me, by the way, in there?
I will pass it on.
Can the winner of the experience drive the John Deeres around the field?
Now, hasn't he upped it enough? He wants people to drive around on the John Deeres. I think we saw that I kind of ruined that already, didn't I?
Yeah, you got to get licensed to drive a John Deere around here, but I guarantee you there'll be the time of their life if they sign up for this.
Ryan, you want to sign up for it?
And possibly, and the second thing is nobody grows grass in Kansas City better than Trevor. Will Trevor give some grass growing tips?
Now that one I think would be worth much more than anybody has bid so far. Ryan wants to know if you'll give grass growing tips because it's not easy here in the summer in Kansas City, and you do it better than anybody.
Absolutely. Whoever signs up, we'll talk yard all they want. I'll give them all the tips I got.
See, there you go. You will come out here. You will be able to hang with the grounds crew, get the base, get the gear, water the field, and you'll win the Yard of the Month Club in your neighborhood as well.
Start bidding. That's a great deal, Split. Huh?
Why don't you just ask for the sod? Does your yard need a lot of work or something? I think Trevor's going for the top spot. I mean, whether ever donated for anything else, I think he's going for the number one.
Well, I can think of some major league grounds crew that we've seen this year that might want to bid for that. If you know what I'm saying.
I hear you.
Bruce Chen, with 2 outs and nobody on in the first inning, ended up giving a couple of runs up. A double, a hit batter, 2 RBI singles, and now 2 outs, nobody on in the second. And he's 0-2 on Denard Span. I remember when Angel Baroa was with the Royals and how much he loved to drive around the John Deere before batting practice. So I thought I'd throw that in there in case Angel is watching tonight. He might bid on that just to drive the John Deere again.
That might be one of the reasons they're not going to allow you to do it. We talked about last night, Minnesota picking up the 20 hits in the ball game, and even 100 games into the year, how much that means to your team batting average. Now the Royals no longer leading the American League in hitting. Minnesota is. They were third going into yesterday's game.
That ball goes off of Billy Butler's glove. The Twins wanted some obstruction on Bruce Chen. First base umpire Ron Kolpa says no. So a lot of things went wrong there. The first might be Split that Billy went a long ways off the bag to try and get that ground ball.
Yeah, that ball's not very sharply hit, so he has time to get over to his right to do that. But if you look at the position of Chris Getz, where he is, I mean, he's going to field that ball between his feet. If Billy deflects it, he goes by the second baseman to the right. Now, that is a reachable ball for him, but just off the end of his glove, redirects it. You see Getz was in good position to make that play straight up, an easy throw. Chen staying to the inside of that base path. That's the way you want to be. It was not interference on the pitcher.
Now Getz makes the catch on the pop-up from Repko, and the Twins are scoreless in the second inning. a family divided. 2 Twins fans, 2 Royals fans. Let's get another update on the Royals Charities broadcast auction from Joel.
She's got a mustache.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, that's what's on my monitor. I couldn't help it. Let's talk about the broadcast experience. Ooh, we are updating literally as we speak. The Suite Night with George Brett has gone up to $1,000, so that's good news. The Ultimate VIP batting practice is at $6. Again, the hitting lessons with Billy Butler at $800. I think we got some more coming in as well. $700 to hang out with Ryan. Oh, we just got a brand new bid in on the grounds crew. $800. It is up from $500 for the grounds crew experience. And also, guys, just want to let everybody know, and that's not to drive the John Deere, but Trevor was just telling me that our buddy Gerald Fatman Anderson, who works during the day, he doesn't work at night, he said he would have him stay late, and Fatman's probably listening right now, he'd have him stay late that night just to hang out with the people.
Well, there you go.
I'm sure he's thrilled about hearing that right now.
By the way, if I had known that they were going to replay that shot of me during this, I might have handled that differently.
Why?
I mean,
that's you.
Worth more than $700.
I might have combed my hair or something.
They can come and comb it for you.
Rick Ankiel, Wilson Betemit, and Alex Gordon coming up in the second inning. Ankiel not in the lineup last night with Francisco Liriano on the mound. And he will take a leadoff walk, a very rare walk given up by Pavano. That is his 20th walk in over 144 innings. You call it, presented by Sprint. What is tougher to come back from? Losing by 18 runs or getting no hit? What do you think, Split?
Wow. Might want to talk to Tampa Bay about coming back after the no-hitter. They've been dumped a couple times. Not easy to lose by 18 runs either. I would say the 18 runs.
Tigers have scored a couple of runs tonight in the first 6 innings at Tampa Bay after getting no hit by Matt Garza last night. Betemit 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI.
Hey, Ryan, just want to let you know that the grounds crew experience is now the leading dollar figure, $1,200.
Well, let's see. What else can we give away?
What do you want to give away? You're in the broadcast, part of the broadcast experience.
Is Trevor still around there?
No,
no. Let's just keep giving things. We'll go item by item tonight.
All right.
I'm, you know, the show with Howie Mandel.
Oh boy.
I'm the guy in the booth that comes in and at the very end and adds, sweetens the pot. That's my job tonight.
You're that creepy guy up there in the booth.
Yeah.
You're the banker.
Exactly.
You're the banker.
Yeah. The only difference is the guy on the show was given that position by the producers. I've given myself this position tonight.
Split, you're hanging out with the banker.
It's his world, I'm just passing through.
Well, if you want to hang out with the banker, the bid for the broadcast experience right now is at $800. You get to hang out with the banker. You get to hang out with Denny Matthews. That's a pretty good one, too. We'll talk more about that one later. But let's
talk
get
about one
in.
extreme to the other.
From the banker to Denny Matthews. 816-504-4040.
2-2 on Betemit. First time that Wilson Betemit faces Carl Pavano.
One of the first thoughts I had over the weekend after the trade of Castro to L.A. and Ellis Gordon come back from big league and said, well, Ellis, is this the opportunity to go back and play third base? We're all saying, absolutely not. Betemit is going to be in there most days. Really, Bloomquist will have an opportunity to go play and see if Chris gets there. The Royals are intent on developing an outfield and making an outfield. But Now Novella scored. Fastball trying to get it up and in on the hands. Didn't quite get it there. Betemit gets out in front. Gets enough of the bat hit on to shoot it into right field. Solid base hit. Wells off to a good start here. Inning number 2.
Well, Wilson is not a 360 hitter in the major leagues. That's where he's hitting right now. However, it's easy to say, well, he's been around for a long time. Teams know what they have with Betemit or what they don't have with Betemit. Then you remember, as far as him still having his natural skills, he's only 28 years old.
And I'm not sure you know what you have with him, because he really hasn't gotten an opportunity to play every day. So there might be something there that nobody knows about, including the Royals. You might find out something in the next 9 weeks and say, hey, he is going to be the guy at third base early next year, because they're not talking about bringing up Mike Moustakas. He's now in AAA Omaha.
1 ball, 1 strike on Alex Gordon, who has something in common with Wilson Betemit. And talking to Dayton Moore, he was with the Braves organization when Betemit signed, and I asked Dayton, why didn't things work out for him the way many in baseball thought it would? And Dayton said, well, he just got to the big leagues so quickly. Everything happened so fast. He was 19 years old. Alex hits it to center field. Span is there, and Ankiel will hold at second base, and there is one away. And you could say the same thing about Alex to this point in his career. Yes, he had an outstanding season in Double-A in his first pro season. He also got here rather quickly.
That was an era in a period of time where a lot of the guys came straight up from Double-A, did not go to Omaha. The thought process is a little bit different right now with Dayton Moore in charge, saying, hey, you're going to every level, and you won't move from that level until that league cannot hold you anymore. And at that point in time, everybody will know it. And at that point in time, you figure you move on, you will not be going back.
And there are several players with the Royals over the past 10 years, let alone all of baseball over the past 10 years, where you can say, you know what, I wonder if he got to the big leagues too soon. On the flip side, you never hear about a guy's career that was ruined because he got to the big leagues, quote, too late. Good changeup, and it's 1-1 on Betancourt.
Back in the 70s and 80s, most of the guys went through Omaha, and that's how they got here. Now, Saberhagen came from Class A, Mike Grubzak came from Double-A, but other than that, most all of them came Double-A to Triple-A to Kansas City. It's a good changeup from Habano right there. He keeps both lefties and righties off balance with that.
Got underneath it. And an easy play for Delman Young in left field. Runners not tagging. So 2 on, nobody out with a walk and a single. And now first and second, 2 away. All night we'll be going out to Rivals to check in with Joel. Tonight is the Royals Charities broadcast auction. 8 different Royals experiences. And if you'd like to make a bid, you'd like to go over the items, 816-504-4040. You can also go to the Royals website at royals.com/broadcast auction to look at the items. Chris Getz starts in his 3rd consecutive game. Royals have been looking for opportunities to get him in there. He was not in the original starting lineup last night, but Yuniesky Betancourt was scratched late for a personal matter, so Mike Avila slid over to short, and Getz was at second. Ankiel at second base, Betemit at first. Left side, and Valencia will go to second for the force. So after 2, Minnesota leads 2-0. with our boss, Royals Vice President Mike Swanson. And it's not just with us; they get to hang out with you as well.
Absolutely, they get to spend a night up in the press box after they get you and Frank and Split, and then they get into the radio booth with Denny, Bob, and Steve, and then they're going to come upstairs and get their fill of statistics and press box announcements. We'll also feed them up there too.
Well, there you go. Now, Swanee, explain to these people why in the world would they want to spend the evening with us?
Well, this is honestly, I mean, I know we live in the land of Oz over here, but this is the peek behind the curtain. This is the opportunity for people to come here and you know, I'm willing to expand this as much as we can to get that bid up there. You know, in the afternoon we have you guys meet with Ned Yost down on the bench and with the regular media that covers the club. And by golly, if they want to come out early enough, even regardless of what the temperature is that day, we'll let them come out there and witness that and see the work that you guys do to prep. And then we'll take them up to the press dining room and let them get some food and eat exactly what you guys eat before a game, your pregame meal, as it were.
How about if we adopt one or two of them, maybe hang on the batting cage like we do in
we can take them right to the batting cage. Yeah. But keep coming up with ideas. That thing was at $800 when we started this. I want to see it at $1,600. George Brett's getting more than us. Come on.
Trevor.
You know, I mean,
let's go.
Trevor.
How's George Brett getting more than this? You know, let's go. We need to go here.
So let me get this straight. In addition to what is already offered on the website, you get here early. You can go down to the dugout before the game. You can hear Ned Yost address the media.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of a formal and informal press conference at the same time. And then they can go on the field during batting practice.
We'll take them right up to the cage with Split and you. And if you're asking questions of Kevin Seitzer, by golly, they can witness that and know what you guys are going to be talking about during the course of the telecast.
And we ask every night.
Yeah, we do.
It's a different day every day, a different matchup. And I mean, you go right there because those are the guys with the answers. You spend all day coming up with a plan.
Delman Young into deep left field, and Posednik back has it go off the fence, and then it hits Posednik. And Delman Young is into second base with his third double of the series.
You know, Swanee, one of the things we did when Trey was here a whole lot, we had a separate meeting with him off on the side, just the broadcasters, Ryan, myself, and Frank, and Joel was there quite a bit. Maybe we could do something like that, maybe outside his office, and maybe, you know, it was always before the regular media meeting.
Yeah, you know what? I'll talk to Mr. Yost about that and see. Let's just hope it's not after a 19-1 ball game like last night. But yeah, we can. You know what? Ned's in for anything we can do to help promote this ball club as well, and I think we can probably convince him of that. And you know, we'll take it a step further too. If our guests have a question, it's a burning question about our ball club, and they want an answer, they can have you guys ask it for them.
Whoa! All right, so it's not just a broadcast experience from the outside looking in. This is almost like being a broadcaster for the day.
You want to come in here and you want to learn about the Kansas City Royals, and like I said earlier, peek behind the curtain. You know what, you might have a couple of questions as to why things take place and how it actually takes place out on the field. You know, this game, we talk about it all the time, how this game's a lot faster than people realize when they get up to big league level. And a lot of things happen during the course of the night, and our manager and general manager and the players have to answer to it. And you know what, you come out here and get the broadcast experience, we'll give you that opportunity as well.
Left side, that's past Betamede and Betancourt. Michael Kadire, who drove in a run in the first inning, is 2 for 2. And the Twins have runners at the corners with one out.
That's one, just to give people an idea, we normally do that in the 3:30 to 4 o'clock hour. Ned meets with the other media about, what, 4:15, 4:20?
About 4:20 on the bench, yeah.
So it's not something you have to get here at 2 in the afternoon. I mean, we're 3.5 hours before the ball game. There's still plenty of time to get that done.
If it's somebody that has the opportunity to get here early, we'll make sure they participate in all phases. And if they want to stay late, the other part of this that I wanted to throw out there was if they want to come downstairs and see Ned's post-game press conference, it is privy only to the media that covers the club. They can come down and join me in the back. They can stay in the back of the room and watch what takes place, where they see it on TV on the evening news at night. They can see it live in the room.
And that can always get interesting because there are some difficult questions that are asked after the game that not necessarily are asked before the game.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of the things you'll hear before the ball game with Ned and the players, you know, some of them came to fruition, some things didn't. It's you know, the ball game gets played, so questions have to be asked as to somebody's performance. And we'll let the fans, the two people who bid on this experience, come in and be a part of that. They won't be able to ask a question probably, but that's really the serious work part of the night. That we can at least make sure they're in the room and see how we do this.
So right now, everything that is available for us every day is available for them on that day.
On that specific day. And one other thing Toby and I were talking about, because there's Bats crown seats available for this. We're going to have those crown seats available for another game of their choice. Now, they're welcome to use them that night, but we think we're going to keep them pretty busy that night, so you'd hate for them to waste the night.
Crown seats to go with that
deal?
There's
crown seats
Whoa.
in this deal. So,
where do I bid? I want to do this.
Yeah, that was the question we talked about. If Split or myself, if we bid on that, do we have to work that night?
We've got enough of it. Yeah, we can fill in some blanks there. So, yeah.
We got enough of it.
We've got enough of it. I think we can fill this one in.
Now, we also should point out that this broadcast experience is for two.
Yes.
Not just for one person. It's for two.
Two people. They'll come up, again, after they come into the television booth, and they've done the pregame chores with you and the pregame meal. We'll go into the radio booth, and they can see Denny and Bob sit there and give their audio play-by-play of the game, and then we'll go up to the main press box, and they'll see where all the writers work, and there are the fellas right there. Bob's inning to work, apparently. So,
let me throw this out. I mean, if somebody is really interested in the technical side of everything, how about going out to the truck with the rest of our crew where it all happens? Maybe hang out for an inning or two out there, see how those guys operate. I mean, I've always liked that.
Well, we might have to bounce that one off Kevin Shank.
Oh, we got an absolutely from Kevin Shank. Yeah. So, and I always flattered when someone wants to come up to the booth and watch us work. Appreciate what we do, but I always tell them, you really want to go into the truck because that's where television is really happening.
They walk into a TV truck, they can think they can send a shuttle up and they see what's in the TV truck.
Well, just to give an idea, an HD truck, how many $1 million production area is that? A studio, TV studio.
You're going to have that one whispered in your ear.
All right, let's ask the truck. How much, guys, how many millions of dollars of equipment will they be looking at down in the truck? About $9 million. How about that?
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that makes for a nice little tour.
That's about the cost of your little chalet in Aspen, isn't it?
It's just a little under that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
All right, so let's get this straight. We've got get to the ballpark early, go to Ned Yost's press conference, possibly, not to be confirmed yet, possibly maybe a little side session with him afterwards with the broadcasters. Hang around the cage during batting practice, maybe privy to a private conversation between one of us and one of the coaches or one of the players and how we get ready for the game. And then pop in and out of the television booth, the radio booth, a trip down to the truck to see where everything is really happening. Spend some time with you, get to see where the official score sits, maybe get to see a play where he has to make a decision.
I might send him over to argue for me because I'm getting tired of doing it.
Dinner in the press box?
Hot dog during the game.
Hot dog
gotta have that.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're full service. This would be a full service experience for somebody. And I don't see that number going up. So let's go, folks.
Crown seats, either to that game or maybe another game.
There's my staff right there. There's David Holtzman, Hillary, our intern, and then the rest of the writers. There's two seats waiting. There's Dick Cagle, the Kegler right there, the Doc.
Ned Yost press conference after the game.
Yep. And then the crown seats for if they want to use that game, if they have 4 guests they want to have sitting at the crown seats that night, that's great. But if not, we'll let the person who bids on the experience come in another night for the crown seats.
Wow.
So
that's quite a deal.
I think it's a great deal.
And for two. All of this is for two.
All of this is for two.
Okay.
You know, Ryan, we always talk to guys on the other team, too. I mean, he probably ought to do that.
Yeah.
You know, somebody over there, we always got a question or two. Might be the manager, might be a player. I mean, if they're going to be there.
And I believe this is for a mutually agreed upon date, so all we need to do is find out the person's schedule, and we'll get this thing planned.
If you want to, you can pop into another broadcast booth if you'd like.
Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven there doing the Twins telecast.
You can go talk to Monty. He's in the aquarium in between our booth and the Twins television booth.
Doesn't Monty like the windows open?
I don't know what is with Monty with the windows.
You know, we could probably scare the heck out of Don Free and let him play with the dials over on the radio side for a little while, too.
People don't realize that, but Don Free runs the entire Royals radio network.
Brian Williams, by the way, is subbing for him. This is the one week Don has a chance to get publicity, and B-Dub's in the booth tonight.
Those two computers in front of Brian Williams, and they're just right next to us to our left, that controls the entire Royals radio network, which is the largest radio network in the American League.
How about Joel? We haven't even gotten him in this yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, we mentioned Monty. We got Joel Goldberg. Joel, you know, Joel can jump in. He can.
Joel, what are you going to add to this?
Well, what would anybody like to do on the pre or post game show? You could sit in on either one of those.
I think someone would like to towel off your forehead before you go on the air.
Well, you already do that for me.
You know, if we were in Seattle, they could bring the sushi up to the booth. I know that one's still hanging out.
Absolutely.
The sushi to the booth. They can come out to Rivals, though, for the pregame show, I would say. If they're going to be there for the postgame show, and then come out to the pregame show. You can sit out on set for one of the segments with either Monty and myself or Split myself and take part in some of the analysis.
All right, I'm gonna be the banker here. Can I add this, Joel? How about maybe not for a segment, but just maybe for a moment they could be on television and be introduced so all their family and friends could see them.
They can walk right. I mean, Slugger barged in on us today. Why can't they come in with us? Sure.
Yeah, we can include them.
All right, let's take one more step. Let's take another step. If we win the baseball game, which is always something that where we have the post-game interview on the field, they can come down there and hang out with me as we pull a couple of guys out of the high five line to talk to Mr. Goldberg on the warning track.
Whoa! Okay, so you could be this is pretty exciting. I know this is long. How long have you been doing this in Major League Baseball?
This is year number 32.
32 years, but maybe the biggest thrill you get every day is being in the dugout or right outside the dugout in the camera bay for the final out of a win.
There's nothing better in the world to hear everybody's excitement as they blow out of the dugout to head out on the field.
How about they picked the star of the game? They could pick the star of the game, assuming the Royals win, and that's who I'll interview.
That's exactly right.
Who do you want to talk to? That's who we'll talk to.
We'll have them right there with you as you come out on the field, and you ask the person who their preference is for the interview, and give me the name, and I'll run out there and snag them.
Preferably somebody that played that night.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Well, this is the second two-run inning for the Twins in their first three, and J.J. Hardy driving in Michael Kadire.
How are we doing with all this? Is the bid going up?
Ned Yost is out there with nobody warming up in the bullpen, and the bullpen has really been used over the past week or so. We're holding strong at $800 for the broadcast experience.
Come on, folks, get on the phone.
George is absolutely destroying us, but that's good.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
1,500. George is in the lead.
We're a bargain at this point.
Yeah, right now we're a bargain at $800. Heck, the ground seats alone.
Yeah, don't forget, this is for two. It's not just $800 for one person. It's right now, it'd be $400 per person. Whoa! Kevin Schenk, our producer, has now taken over as the banker. The broadcast experience is now for four, not two. So right now you're looking at $200 a person.
Exactly. And we need to get that up there a little more. This is some kind of an experience here.
You know, the way this is moving or not moving, Swanee, this isn't really helping us with our upcoming contract negotiations, is it?
Not a lick.
Yeah.
Not a lick. But come on, Laura, put a comma in there.
We got movement.
Yeah.
Laura, we need a comma in there.
They're all waiting, Laura.
I think it's gone up to $810.
Oh, we got
there
four.
There we go. We got a comma.
Whoa!
Jumped $400.
If you write Swanson on there, I've got to call my wife and tell her we're getting divorced. So
he doesn't want to come hang with you in the broadcast experience.
G. Love.
Thank you.
You're going to have the time of your life.
That was
Love.
That was actually Rob Riggle when he was here. His name on the back of his jersey. He said that the G was silent.
Well, if Rob Riggle is bidding on this, I want to make sure I bid on some broadcast experience he has.
Billy can't handle the short throw from Chris Getz. So the Royals get the second out of the inning. Valencia to third. Punto is at first.
Well, with four people now, we've doubled up the questions.
Well, for $1,200 now, we're looking at what, $300 a person.
Still a bargain.
Yeah.
Still a bargain. 4 crown seats on a night like that.
And now Drew Butera. This has to be fun as long as Sal's been around, and one of the great gentlemen in the game. longtime scout. Not only gets he a chance to scout this game, but he gets to watch his son start a game.
Talk about an experience. That's one that there's no amount of money that you can pay for that one. To be able to sit in the stands and watch your son and still be in the game itself.
I imagine, though, that the team he's working for says, put the clipboard down when your son comes to the plate. I don't want to put you in the position to start, going over your son with a fine-tooth comb. And to right field. So Minnesota gets 2 more in the 3rd inning. Swanee, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for all the added bonuses to the broadcast experience.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun for everybody. We're going to have a good time.
Good. Thanks, Swanee.
All right. Good one.
Is $25 gift card to Blockburgers, hat and T-shirt, $5 Sheridan's card, a parking pass as well. So that's a great deal. $200 value. 816-504-4040. So that's certainly something we encourage everybody to call in as well. Again, the money going to Royals Charities, and then we've got the big board up here. A couple $1,200 bids on top for the grounds crew experience, the broadcast experience. George is at $1,500. Hitting lessons with Billy Butler at $1,000. We're going to tell you about more of these items in just a little while, guys.
All right. Well, Split, we added $1,400 or $400 to our experience.
All of a sudden, that turned into a pretty nice afternoon and evening.
So it's 4-0 Minnesota with 2 runs in the first, 2 more in the 3rd. Royals with 2 hits and a walk, first time through against Carl Pavano. A promising start to the 2nd inning with a walk and a single with nobody out, but Pavano got Alex Gordon on a fly out to shallow center field, Yuniesky Betancourt to left field, and Chris Getz on a force out to end the inning. Kosednik grounded out to 2nd in the 1st inning. A base hit tonight, and he ties his career high with a 14-gamer. And that line drive is caught by Kadire. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. Pavano at 94 miles an hour in his first 2 innings, and Bruce Chen up to 92 in his 3. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable.
Guys, broadcast experience. Sorry, Ryan. Broadcast experience is up to 1,600. G. Love has been outbid by C. Woods. 1,600.
All right, we've doubled it, Split. Oh. So wait a minute. Are you saying, Joel, that we have the highest number on the board at the moment?
We do. So we have now risen above the Sweet Night with George Brett, which is this Friday. That's at $1,500. You know what? Let's call in now and up that bid on George Brett, because he can't be losing to the broadcast experience.
Well, gee, thanks, Joel.
Just trying to raise some money. Then we'll get everybody. Then we'll do like the broadcast experience for like 200 people. Maybe not.
Was that a nice way of Joel saying George can't lose to these knuckleheads?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them.
I was going to say, he's one of us.
Oh, we
Wait,
got
whoa.
more movement. Let's see. Everybody is waiting
Come on, Laura.
She's very
Whoa, a
smiley
2.
because 2,000.
Wow. Wow. And by the way, you're pretty much going to spend the whole day with us. You're going to see everything that we do before the game, during the game, after the game. Have a meal up in the press club. That's where I met my wife, by the way. So who knows? You might meet your wife while you're up there, or your husband.
Took a couple of years to get that deal closed out, but good going.
Thank you.
I think the truck is what put it over the top.
Yeah. And you know what? That is in all seriousness. I tell people that. You know, you want to come up, friends and family, and watch us in the booth, sure. But if you really want to see what this is all about, you need to watch it from behind the scenes.
That's really where all the talent is on our group and the personality.
Well, George, he was excited for a while when he was the top bidder, but I don't know. He looks like he's down, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Kind of into the ball game. Wondering how we're going to get 5 runs. I think the problem right now is Minnesota pitching has been so good over the last couple of weeks. They really had a hard time into the All-Star break, but over the last 10 days, a 2.0 ERA, and this is the guy leading the way. Actually, it was Pavano and Francisco Liriano, who worked here last night, kind of holding their club together.
Billy loses a bat, but gets a hit. He's 2 for 2. Royals with their 3rd hit, and a runner at first with 2 down. Check the location, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Everybody tries to work inside on Billy. He knows that, so he knows he has to stay inside the ball, quick with his hands, use his hands, and get out in front. Well, got in enough that it broke his bat, but he was a base hit to left field. A 2-hit game here so far tonight.
We're up to 2,500 on the broadcast experience.
Oh, my.
Still a bargain. Huh, Banker?
Well, it happens so often that we have a guest in the booth, and it's a 5 or 6 pitch inning. And, hey, G. Love is back in there. But Swanee was here for 30 pitches, so we had some time to put in some add-ons. Jose struck out looking in the first inning. He thought he had been hit by the pitch. Thought a pitch had grazed him on his hand. Angel Hernandez said no, and then on the very next pitch, Pavano struck him out. That's a good-looking slider over the outside, 1-2.
One of the things fans will really like around the batting cage, Ryan, is how everything is all timed out. All the conversation that goes on is guys are getting tips from their hitting instructor Kevin's side to all the balls that are in play. Number of guys hitting ground balls to different infielders. Who throws across to go to first base, who comes right back in. The way it's all set up every day it goes on. To be that close to it and to see how fast all that goes on, the precision of it, it's a lot of fun.
And Kevin Seitzer is a great guy to talk hitting with. He'll talk mechanics, he'll talk approach, he'll talk about what a particular hitter is working on.
And he'd be close enough to hear all that. This is usually a little badgering going on around the cage.
$2,600.
Trevor's getting blown away.
Yeah.
Poor Trev.
You know, he shouldn't have laughed at me when I brought up the John Deere thing. Jay Yoder, thank you. And we have an increased bid on the George Brett Suite experience.
Still 1,000 behind.
Left center field. That'll roll deep. Young into a slide to cut it off. Butler goes to third. Guillen has a double.
Ryan, with this ball hit dead in the gap right there, you know it's going to be a double for Guillen. Big question, if he can roll to the wall, Royals can get their runner home from first base. That's a Bosch ball by Pavano right there. Had a good spot, down and away, but Guillen, remember the first time up was reaching for a ball down there, but got him to reach again. That's why he didn't roll all that deep. He had to go out and get it, then was able to cut it off, and Billy had to hold on to third.
"37 times this year, the Royals have scored a run after 2 outs and nobody on base. They did it again last night, trying to do it again here and get back into the game. Gankiel taking a swing. He was trying to get 3 runs with 1 swing of the bat. Pavano walked him to lead off the second inning, a very rare walk given up by Pavano, who has allowed the second fewest walks per 9 innings in the American League. Late movement, started inside, tailed over the corner, and it's 0-2.
Jeff Pavano will work both sides of it. See Butera, you talk about where they're going, just follow Butera around. Pavano has the kind of command, he won't miss him very often.
Got him with a changeup down. So for the second straight inning, the Royals leave 2 on base.
That you could do if you come out on that broadcast experience, but instead of being out there, you get to hang right in here on the pre or post game show if you want to do that. All right, here's the big board, and we want to let everybody know about these items, but also we keep kind of upping the ante, sweetening the pot a little bit. Now you get a chance to play the role of banker. Let's start with the grounds crew experience.
Well, the grounds crew that Trevor Vance just called about, we've got 2 people that are coming out for an opportunity to hang with the grounds crew the entire game. But we've got a third person that he's going to add, and that means that the 3 people that are participating, they all get to take home the bases that they exchange in the third inning.
So everybody gets one.
So we're not talking about just the experience. We're talking about an actual thing that you get to take home, an item that you'll never forget.
And they hang all game now, and they get gear and all that. So that's a good one. $1,200, but now for 3 people. So obviously worth so much more. How about the broadcast experience? We've heard a lot about that. It's at $2,600, but let's keep going on that one. You get everything for that. Royals Deluxe Autograph Hall of Fame package. I don't know if a lot of people know about this one yet. It's only at $700.
Yeah, you get a whole bunch of things that were signed by Royals Hall of Famers, but also a personal tour from Royals Hall of Fame outfielder Willie Wilson for 6 people. That's a kick in and of itself. He gets such a good time out of showing people where they can go in the Hall of Fame to find out about the history of the Royals, and he's in there all the time, too. People love Willie Wilson. He'll be out there for you.
He'll be there live, and he's part of some of the exhibits as well. So
no doubt.
That's a great one. And for anybody that's never met Willie Wilson, I mean, not only does he have the stories, he's got that big booming laugh. He's so much fun. I mean, you're going to have a lot of fun with Willie.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He lives in Kansas City part of the year. He really has been a fan favorite, probably in the top 3 You know, we've got a George Brett and a Frank White, but Willie Wilson is right there when you talk about some of the best in the business for the Royals.
Yeah, so much fun. A lot of great stories. Okay, then the Sweet Night with George Brett. I think we have a pretty good idea of what that is, but just refresh just in case.
Well, this Friday night we're playing the Baltimore Orioles. It's a 7:10 game in one of our signature suites, which are designed again for Royals Hall of Famers. If you walk in there on the loge level, the midsection, you can see all of these great autographs from people who played for the Royals that were inducted into the Team Hall of Fame. George is going to stop by for an inning. It's about as much fun as anything. It's as fun as getting a tour of the Royals Hall of Fame with Willie Wilson to hang with George Brett for an inning of a game. He's got so many great stories. You might even be able to get him to hang for another half inning or so once he gets going.
How many people do you know, just that don't work for the Royals, but they know you work for the Royals, and say, man, I would do anything to meet George Brett? I mean, everybody says that all the time, so that's a no-brainer.
Right. Well, right now, you could get for $1,700 the opportunity to do that.
Yes, and hopefully even more. Ultimate VIP batting practice and fireworks experience. It's at $600, I think only because we haven't talked about it yet. So let's tell everybody what they get for that.
Well, basically, you'll come down onto the field before the game, and you'll get to watch the Royals and the opposing team for batting practice. And that in and of itself is a fun time. We're going to put you in the Bats Crown Club during the game. And then afterwards, this is so cool, you get to go back down onto the Royals dugout area, and we're going to bring a surprise guest. Now, we say surprise because we got guys that occasionally go on the disabled list, and we got the trade deadline coming up in a couple of days. We don't know who it's going to be, but it'll definitely be a Royal celebrity, and that person's going to sit there and watch the fireworks with you.
What was George? He was at just, 1,600?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at 2,500 now.
We just jumped up a little bit.
All you got to do is show George on camera, and suddenly 2,500. Show Ryan, and then that'll jump.
Yeah, right.
All right. Ultimate VIP batting practice. Let's get people going on that. 816-504-4040. Everybody loves Fireworks Friday, too, but nobody ever gets a chance to see that right from the dugout.
Well, that's the thing, is that this is really an all-day experience. You get to go to BP beforehand, and then you're there at the end of the game on a Friday watching batting practice. Watching the fireworks. Right. The fireworks you can see from anywhere in the stadium, and it's a fantastic view. From the dugout, it's going to be something extra special.
Yeah, maybe standing on the top step like the players do during the game. All right, hitting lessons with Billy Butler. It's at $1,000. I have a feeling that this one's going to jump too because, everybody wants, when their kids are playing baseball, to get some good instruction, and there's so much great instruction here in town, so many former players. But the chance to get Billy Butler, who was so good with kids, he's young. He's as close to their age as anybody around here. And it's for 3, I believe, 10 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah, and he's got the spirit of a kid. I think I just read today that he said that he doesn't remember a day that's passed in his life, even Christmas Day, going inside with his dad where he didn't hit a baseball. He's going to take that same baseball passion and teach it to kids. We have so many youth clinics where we deal with current and former Royals players, and it's just worth its weight in gold to spend some time with them. To be able to spend a little bit of time with Billy Butler down on the field, this is really a great opportunity for a parent that's trying to get kids to play the game the right way.
And I suspect that parent, so if you've got 3 kids, or if you've got a kid and maybe 2 of his friends or her friends, they're able to come over there, and they've got ground seats as well, so they can come there as 4 and go to that experience. So the parent can come, bring the kids, you get the food in the Crown Club, and you get a chance to see your kid and friends. Maybe that's a mini birthday party in itself. 816-504-4040. And we'll get to, birthday party next. So this is a bigger birthday party.
The one thing that we wanted to really drive home in this segment, because we're at $700 right now, and this is a $4,000 value. Basically, if you've ever wanted to have a kid out to have a birthday party at Kauffman Stadium, we'll open the gates an hour before and let you just have unlimited play in the outfield experience.
Wow.
You're going to have food and soda in the Royals Hall of Fame suite. It's an unbelievable opportunity. Basically, if you've gone out to the outfield experience and said, man, this is such a good time, you get to do it as a private party for $700 for this outfield experience. So that's pretty cool. We'd like to see that move up.
Yeah, it should. 20 kids. That's a big birthday party. And so, birthday party for 20. Bring a few adults to chaperone, and then you get everybody out here for that. So, great stuff, Toby. We appreciate it. We'll tell you a little bit more about everything else in just a while. We'll be right back at Kauffman Stadium.
Thanks, Joel.
On the other side of the usher. Remember we talked about him last night?
That's him.
He decided that yesterday was going to be the day that he'd take his shirt off for the first time. Oh, my, I can't even look at that. There was word that those guys showed up at about 1:30 yesterday and were tailgating. That's one thing that Kauffman Stadium offers at Target Field, does not have in Minnesota, the great tailgating areas. And those guys were there at 1:30, shirts off, and then here for the game. And oh my gosh, somebody's going to have to peel him off of that seat when he gets off. Jeez. So
He has cleaned up the S a little bit.
yeah.
A whole lot better today than it was last night.
Oh man. Wilson Bedemead, Alex Gordon, and Unieski Bedcourt in the bottom of the fourth. The Royals with 4 hits in 3 innings against Carl Pavano. Two balls, 2 strikes on Bedemead. Royals have stranded 5 in the first 3 innings. Bedemead singled in the second inning. Royals began the second with a walk and a base hit. Didn't get anyone home, and then with 2 outs and nobody on in the third, got a single from Butler, a double from Guillen, but came up empty. And now Bedemead rolls to Punto for the first out. Back out to Joel and Rivals.
How about that broadcast experience? 3,000. G Love is not messing around. So he or she is at 3,000. The Sweet Night with George Brett at 2,500. Also, the outfield experience for the kids is up to 900. 20 kids outfield experience. That's unbelievable. Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. I hadn't told you about that one yet, but that's up to 1,000 right now. And if any of those Twins fans, Ryan, were to win any of these, I'll throw in the sunscreen.
Delman Young to the track to get Alex Gordon. Well, I don't want to pile on, Joel, but there is something that we can add, or maybe something that we need to clarify with the broadcast experience. And Mike Swanson, when he was here, he talked about that the date is something that's agreeable between the winner and the team. So basically, you can look at the Royals schedule and you can pick what game you want to come out to. So if you're a Royals fan, in addition to a Yankees fan or an Indians fan or a White Sox fan, not only will you have a chance to experience our broadcast, you can experience some of their broadcasts, maybe get up close and personal with some of the Yankees personnel or the Indians or the White Sox personnel. So take a look at the schedule the next time you call in a bid as the Royals go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Talk a lot about the broadcast experience, which we are now offering to 4 Royals fans, and it is an all-around broadcast experience, beginning with the beginning of the game and the press conference with Ned Yost, perhaps a personal press conference with the Royals manager, hang around the batting cage during batting practice. Okay, we need to rally here, Split. There's some motivation. Talk to some of the players and coaches. You'll get a chance to visit the Royals radio and television booths. You can go down to the Royals television production truck and meet names you've heard so often on the air, but now meet them in person. Producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, TJ McGinnis. As Delman Young flies to left field, Scott Posednik is there for the out. Delman Young is retired for the first time. Oh boy, this gets even better. Kevin Shank just sweetened the deal. There's our buddy Morgan Kramer. He's going to do exactly that. He's going to allow you to run his camera for an inning. And Steve Kurtenbach, if you don't mind me playing director for part of this inning, let's show how important Morgan's shot is over the course of an inning. I mean, he has a great angle, and we rely on his shots for some very important close-ups. That's the wide shot, and at times Morgan will come nice and tight on the hitter, catcher, and home plate umpire. So you'll have a chance to operate that camera for an inning. Now, since this is a package for 4 fans, you can either rotate during the inning or you can designate 1 fan for the inning. Michael Kadire hits a soft liner to third, so he is 2 out of 3. There are 2 down in the 5th inning. And remember, let's take a look at, before we get to the next point, this is Morgan's shot on this last play. Nice job, Morgan. Steve Kurtenbach says, and if you can do that, that might be Morgan's last day of work. Now remember, you get to choose which game you come out for. And there are 4 homestands left after this one, and some pretty appealing opponents coming to town.
Yankees come in, Cleveland, Chicago White Sox, so that'll be interesting. That's a team contending. And Texas Rangers, Detroit comes in. Both of them are first place ball clubs, so good games.
Pass Posednik, Ankiel has to back it up. Danny Valencia is 7 for 7 in this series.
Pros really haven't found a way to get him out, obviously. Another ball up and out over the plate. He's able to turn on that rock the handle there last night. It's a drive by Posednik. Came very close to making the play. Oh, man, he got a little bit of a glove on it. A little leather, but not enough. Another double. Another man on scoring position. There were 2 outs. Also, that camera shot in left field, they will use a shot. And you will get a tape of that. So you're going to be part of the broadcast.
Wow.
Guys just cleared that with us.
So not only will you get a chance to be on TV with Joel during Hy-Vee Royals Live before the game, you'll get to work the camera. We'll take a shot of you working the camera, and we will show one of the shots that you used working the camera.
And you get the record of it.
So the Yankees come to town. A chance to meet John Sterling, the legendary radio broadcaster of the Yankees, as you pass through all of the radio and television booths. And since you'll be down on the field during batting practice, you might be there when Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez are stretching out. Cleveland Indians get a chance to meet Tom Hamilton.
Rick Manning does their ball games. Guys that we get together with all the time, all the conversations we have, information about opposing clubs.
Twins are scoreless in the top of the 5th. They have a 4-0 lead.
VIP Bratting 800, hitting lessons with Billy 1,000, outfield experience for the kids 1,400, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch 1,100, $4,000 for the sweet night with George Brett. How about that?
Well, it is with mixed emotions that we welcome George to the booth, because it's always a thrill when he comes by. But we're kind of competing with you tonight. But now that you're here, you're already ahead. We've got no chance.
Well, Mike Swanson just came up to Dayton Suite, and he says, "Man, I'm kicking your rear end. I'm up $500 on you." Within a half an inning, now I'm up $1,000 on him. So it's been a good turnaround. And whoever gets that thing, I know one thing: we'll have a couple cold beers up there. You just got to call the Royals and let them know what brand you like, and we'll make sure it's up there for you. I've been known to have a beer at a sporting event. Haven't you, Lefty?
Yeah,
a beer and a hot dog. You can't go to either one without having a beer and a hot dog. But I'm sure we'll have a good time. I don't do hitting lessons anymore. I did hitting lessons for Bill Self's charity.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old kid, Kyle Abramson from Lawrence, Kansas, hit me right here in the forehead, 9 stitches with a line drive.
So that was
I
the end of
retired from 10-year-old batting lessons. Billy, good luck.
Well, go ahead and teach it, just don't throw it.
Exactly.
Let somebody else throw it.
He was a hooker, Lefty. I was trying to get him to hit the ball up the middle, and finally his last one he did, and I didn't get behind the screen. 9 stitches. Right? Can you see that? 9 stitches right there. Crazy.
Well, we are in high definition now, so we probably could get a good look at that.
Yeah.
That's a nice size.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? How come
2 balls, 2 strikes.
How come every time we hit a ball hard, they catch it?
Man, they're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah. How about last night's game? They got me right here.
Right there?
There's this one, right? That line right there.
Because you got another one going over
Yeah,
here. Is that a hockey game?
That's self-inflicted.
Oh, okay.
That was self-inflicted.
And you can hear that story if you spend the night in the suite with George.
Yeah, that was self-inflicted. I got a little mouth.
So what kind of things go on when baseball guys get together and spend the evening watching the game in a suite? I mean, it's enough to just hang out with you, but what are some of the things that fans can look forward to?
We'll have some good food, I guarantee you that. We'll have some cold beers. We'll have some cold water. We'll have some sodas for the kids. And we'll just have a good time. You can ask any question you want. I'm sure there'll be a lot of signing. There'll be a lot of photos. I did this a couple weeks ago with Willie Aikens. He did a deal with some dental people here in town, and they wanted to go out and have dinner in a restaurant. And I said, why don't we just do it at the game? So they had me and John Mayberry was up there, Willie Wilson, and we had a wonderful time up there just watching the ball game. And I'm sure I'll stick around for 5-6 innings and have a good time with these people. And you never know. Tournaments, you play in a golf tournament, right? You meet a guy in your foursome, you kind of become friends. You never know. You might exchange some numbers and start a relationship with somebody. Who knows what's going to happen?
So you're going to give away your phone number?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
You're going to give away yours. I know that. It'll be a good time. Ask any question you want. We can sit up there. I can't give you some information, but I'll give you everything I feel I can. You know, you can talk about the old days, and maybe we'll get some of the other teammates to come up there and spend some time with us.
Absolutely. If they're in the ballpark, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on. Guys are out here all the time.
Why wouldn't you? Ryan, you can come up.
If they'll let me go, I'd love to go
come
up
on
there.
Up for an inning.
Yeah.
Guys
Now,
should broadcast from up there 1 inning.
Depending on whether he's in school or not, maybe they can meet your son Jackson, who is a part of the once-a-year part of the Royals Radio Network broadcast
he hasn't
team.
done it this year. He's a little disappointed.
Really?
He was out last night. He's out tonight with me, and then he's going to be out tomorrow. He's going to be out every night this week, so maybe we'll have Jackson out, and the other boys come out an awful lot. They still love coming out here. I think Jackson was out last night sitting by the Sonic sign out in center field. That's where the seats were. But one of the boys is here almost every night. And the good thing about Jackson, he can drive now.
There you go. Got football coming up, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got football starting.
Well, where is
School
Jackson?
starts. He's right
Come on
back
up here,
somewhere.
Jackson. Where'd he go?
He's bigger than I am.
I mean, come on up here.
He's bigger than I am.
This is George's
embarrassing.
oldest son.
Yeah. Look.
And, wow, Leslie's family has some studs in
Yeah,
it.
they're big.
Yeah, okay.
Big.
All right.
Not only is he taller than me, he outweighs me now.
Jackson had been doing at least 1 inning with Denny on radio going back to, gosh, you were 5 years old or so. I'm sure Split's going to give you the headset here. And I can remember, I think it was my first year, which was 11 years ago. How old were you 11 years ago?
17 now, so he was 6.
6, and I think you did it the year before that. So, yeah, 5 years old the first time you
Have you
broadcast
done
an
it? Have
inning.
you done it recently?
2 years ago.
2 years ago? Well, you owe Denny a visit.
Okay, so you have a chance maybe to spend some time.
And you were
with
amazed.
Jackson.
I remember you were amazed at his memory, and you said, "How do you remember all this?" And you said, "Ryan, it's right up there on the scoreboard."
Yeah, not one of my most proudest moments. Sitting next to Jackson. Jackson's doing the inning, and he doesn't have a scorecard or anything in front of him. And he's doing the game in, I don't know, the 6th or 7th inning, and he says, Jason Kendall comes to the plate. He has popped to second, grounded out to short. And every guy who came up, I'm thinking, how the heck does he remember? Nothing in front of him. So finally I asked him, and I think this was probably my 3rd or 4th or 5th year with the Royals, and he said, well, it's right there on the scoreboard in center field. Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You're looking
you
at
could
the
go now, Jackson.
card here.
So football season's coming up for you, Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Position?
Center.
Center? Okay.
And long snapper.
And long snapper.
Okay.
The good thing is Dylan, his younger brother, who's almost as big as him and outweighs me also, could be the guard. He could be the center, and Dylan could be the guard. He's working out on the offense and defensive line for Shawnee Michigan. So if there's ever a good run up the middle, guess what? My boys were responsible. If there's not, somebody comes from up the middle, my boys missed their assignment.
I would think, because of what you've accomplished, that it would be easier for you to watch them play another sport other than baseball. Was that
football?
true?
Football is more fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy them in football, and they've come a long way. Obviously, they've gotten a lot bigger. They're a lot stronger than I am. They've been going to weights for 7 weeks now, every Monday through Thursday, from 7 to 9.
Around there.
7 to 9, and they've really bulked up and starting to look like linemen. But it is fun watching them play football. I still get a kick out of watching them play baseball.
Well, I think it's time for Jackson to make his appearance in Royals Radio Network booth.
Why don't you do it one night this week? You're going to be here. Do it tomorrow.
I'll come with you Friday.
Come with me Friday. I'll be out here.
There we go.
Maybe it's because he's old enough now where he has enough friends that listen that maybe there's more pressure to perform when he gets on the air during the game.
Probably.
Yeah.
He does listen every night when he goes to bed, though, because every morning when I go downstairs, it's still on 610. In all 3 kids' rooms, they all listen to the game when they go to bed at night.
That's good to hear. Now, Billy, maybe your coaching days are over, but Billy is offering some batting practice to 3 fans aged 10 to 18. That's a good deal.
That'll be a good deal. He's pretty knowledgeable. He's a lot of fun to be around, and if you haven't met him, you're going to love it. You're really going to love him.
Billy's up to $1,100. Now, from a Hall of Famer with over 3,000 hits, what makes Billy so good?
He can hit the ball just as hard to right field as he can with left. He's usually got pretty good discipline, and he normally doesn't try to do what he's not capable of. You know, he just stays within himself, just tries to hit the ball hard all over the field. He's got pretty good eye, pretty good discipline, and like I said, I think the most important thing, very, very seldom do you see him overswing, especially with 2 strikes.
And there are times, many times in his career, even as a rookie, he was trusted with a 3-ball no-strike count because his managers have known that he's not going to try and hit it into the fountains.
I don't think there's anything wrong swinging 3-0 when you're up 2 or 3 runs, but when you're down and you got outscored 19-1 last night, there's nothing wrong with it. The pitch you're going to see 3-2 is usually just as good, maybe a little worse than 3-1, but you're still going to see a pretty good pitch 3-1.
Kendall runs. Butera will not throw. Billy walks, and they're loaded up.
Tying run at the plate. So. And the guys are leading home run hitters, so it's not that bad. He hits a ground ball there to short 3-0, and all of a sudden everybody's all over him for, you're down 4 runs. Why are you swinging 3-0? And now we got the bases loaded. Now Jose does something good. He could be a hero. Does something bad. They'll talk bad about him tomorrow.
I've got another question for you, George. Here's our You Call It, presented by Sprint. What are your thoughts? What's tougher to come back from? Losing like the Royals did last night by 18 runs, or like the Tigers tonight coming back after a no-hitter?
I think those two would be about the same. The other team obviously swinging the bat extremely well. The only good thing about getting no hit, you're facing a different pitcher the next day. So whoever's pitching after that no-hitter is definitely not going to – his stuff's not going to be as good as the guy that you faced before. So I would definitely have to say that losing by 18 runs would be the toughest way to come back.
And
I think the toughest game to come back is if you got a 3-run lead in the ninth and you blow it. Those are the toughest. Those games last night, I was watching until the 7th or 8th inning, and then I went to bed because I flew all day to get back from Cooperstown. And I was a little tired, and I kept on thinking I was going to see Mitch Meyer on the mound, or Tony Pena or Brian Pena or somebody like that on the mound pitching that last inning. But we went with our pitchers.
Well, the fans agree with you. 77% saying losing by 18. And by the way, the Tigers have 10 hits so far tonight. So
right. They're facing somebody that's not on their game, or whoever's pitching for Tampa Bay tonight. Their stuff is not going to be as good as the guy they saw last night.
Now you're just running up.
Hey, Jay Earl, my goodness. We're going to have a good time, pal. You just got to let them know when you pick it up if you want Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Light.
I have heard, George, that hitters that do well in this situation, they take the approach, the pressure's not on me, the pressure's on the pitcher.
Yeah, I agree.
And the ones who don't do well look at it the other way around. I've got to come through with a double or a grand slam.
How about just a hit? How about just a single? How about just a single? That's all we need, a single, and then if Ankiel gets a single, that's 3 runs. And then you got Betterment, who's swinging the bat as good as anybody on our team right now. He gets a single, the game's tied.
What do you think about
But
him?
what kills us is when we try to hit a home run every time a guy comes up in this situation. I'd love to see a line drive to right field, much like Kadire did in the first inning.
So you were
That's all he did. He hit a line drive to right field.
So this was the...
All Joe Mauer did was hit a line double the left yesterday,
So this was the classic George Brett hit it hard, not far situation.
Exactly. Don't try to do more than you're capable of doing.
That pitch was up.
It's like Lefty trying to throw on 100 miles an hour in this situation. How about just locate a good fastball? Huh? How about just a nice curveball?
So let's get you back in here. Hey, Jackson, I want to see you on the Royals Radio Network.
I mean, pitchers probably do the same thing in these situations.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody tries to throw a little bit harder instead of stay easy and do something on a corner, but he's going to try to do right there. Fly ball to center, pretty deep enough to get a run.
Yeah. And over to third. And maybe not over to third.
Span showing off a pretty good arm, so the Royals are on the board. And now with 2 outs, before we let you go, George, how was Cooperstown?
Cooperstown was a lot of fun. Spent a lot of time with Whitey. I thought his speech was outstanding. Andre Dawson gave an outstanding speech. Doug Harvey, whom I never knew, because he was always in the National League and I was in the American League, were fantastic. The writer and John Miller did a great job, and Billy Madden. It was a wonderful time. The crowd wasn't that good. We got a lot of rain on Friday. John Wathen was my guest. John loves to play golf, doesn't he?
He knew everybody.
Saturday, we got rained out Friday. Saturday, we had an 18-hole scramble match. And then John wanted to go out afterwards. We ended up playing 40 holes. 40 holes of golf. I was so sore the next morning, and I had a tournament at 8 o'clock I had to play in. But it was a wonderful, wonderful time. I've made it back every year, Ryan, but one. And I didn't go last year because a good friend of mine passed away, and I stayed back for the funeral. But I'm planning on going back every year. It's a lot of fun.
That's great. Well, hey, you've always been very gracious to stop by the booth, and I know you want to enjoy the game with Jackson, but thanks for coming by, and you've got it up to over $5,000, George.
You're in first.
Jay Earl, we're going to have a good time, buddy. If it gets to 6, I might stay in there all 9.
It's up there. There we go, $6,000.
I might be in there for the fireworks, too. See you guys later.
All right, thanks a lot, George. Royals Hall of Famer George Brett, they're up to $6,000 for a sweet night on Friday, July the 30th. Ankiel with runners at first and second and 2 down. Off the end of the bat. Ankiel has walked and struck out so far against Pavano. Pavano's given up just 1 run, 5 hits, but his pitch count continues to increase. It is a hot night in Kansas City, not as hot as it was for the Twins in Baltimore over the weekend. And now Ron Mayhay is throwing behind him in the Twins bullpen. 2-2. Kendall at second base. Butler at first. And Pavano moving up on 100 pitches.
Royals have made him work here tonight, Ryan. Normally good for 7 innings or more with his ball club, but Going to have to go harder than that to get that.
And pitch number 98 is a good one to Ankiel. So the inning is over. The Royals are on the board.
Thank you very much. We'll take a look, and we got to get that grounds crew experience going because Trevor threw in all that extra stuff for more people now, too. It's at $1,200. Broadcast at $3,250. We're not going to catch George. That's okay. The deluxe autograph package, $800. Sweet night with George, $6,000. Ultimate VIP batting, $800. Hitting lessons with Billy, $1,100. The birthday party outfield experience for $20,000. $2,000, and throwing out the ceremonial first pitch is now at $1,100. And guys, I want to tell you a little bit about a couple of those because we're going to get the bidding going a little bit. That Royals Deluxe Autographed Hall of Fame package includes a 40th anniversary Royals banner signed by Brett Saberhagen, George Brett autographed bat, autographed jersey of Frank White, personal tour for 6 of the Royals Hall of Fame with Willie Wilson. So that's really good right there. The broadcast experience, by the way, up to $3,500. That just got upped. And also, want to let everybody know the throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. You throw out the first pitch, you'll have a player or coach catch that pitch. You get the ball autographed, the picture taken, and all these include crown seats as well. So, I mean, that just in itself, the food, the seats, the parking pass to go along with the experience. And you can call 816-504-4040. Let's see, we're at $3,500 for us. The VIP batting practice is going to go up to $900. And Sweet Night with George Brett at $6,000, guys.
Great numbers so far, and we still have 4 more innings to go. Here's more on the Autograph Hall of Fame package and some of the items that are included with that. George Brett autograph bat, an anniversary banner signed by Brett Saberhagen, a Frank White autograph jersey, I would say so far this has gone quite well.
Plus we've had a good time.
Yeah.
I have to up the ante a little bit on our side of this.
Yeah.
So we'll come up with something here pretty soon.
Leadoff walk to Nick Punto, and Bruce Chen now at 104 pitches. Trying to give the Royals 6 innings tonight and take as much strain off the bullpen as possible.
I'll be right back.
Bruce's second walk. Both walks have been leadoff walks. Kyle Farnsworth warming up behind him. The leadoff walk in the 4th inning didn't hurt Bruce. Repko grounded into a double play after Denard Span walked. Minnesota with 2 runs in the 1st inning, 2 more in the 3rd. The Royals just scored their run in the bottom of the 5th on Jose Guillen's sacrifice fly. One strike on Drew Butera, with his father scouting and watching tonight. Drew is originally from the Mets organization. Sal played in the big leagues from 1980 to 1988 and also spent a year with the Minnesota Twins. So you've got two guys at the plate who grew up watching their dads also catch in the big leagues. Fred Kendall, Jason's dad, and Sal Butera, Drew's father.
Sal, primarily a backup player throughout his career, but now a longtime scout with Toronto. He uses all major leagues and minor leagues. He's not an advanced guy. He can kind of pick where he wants to go.
Second time that Bruce Chen has done that. He got Denard Span in the 1st inning and now gets Punto in the 6th.
Well, you wonder if it was a straight steal or the hit and run was on. If the hit and run was on, you want to shorten your lead. You don't want that throw going over to first base. You want to get a late break, make sure they go home with it, and then set sail because you know you have coverage at home plate. But it didn't work out that way. The putout goes 1-3 to the shortstop.
And in front of his dad, Drew Butera picks up his first hit of the night. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Paul Splittorff and Joel Goldberg with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. All one on Denard Span. He's been on base 3 times with 2 hits and a walk. Did you see that shot of Drew Butera at first base? He is the personal catcher for Carl Pavano, and now he's growing a mustache.
And it's gotten to the point that Pavano would rather throw to him than Joe Mauer. They've matched up pretty well together. Plus, the way the Twins are right now, they're trying to rest Mauer a little bit more frequently, so an opportunity to give him half the game off as a DH, not all the game off. Twins might want to put something on here. They have scored since back in the 3rd inning. Now, Jared does not run well on the bases, but Span does a pretty good job of putting the ball in play. The entire right side of the infield is wide open. See how they play it? Got McClure trying to get another inning out of Bruce Chen here tonight. Both bullpens have been busy here in the 5th inning. So far, the starters are still in there.
Two and one on Denard Span, the Twins' first-round pick from 2002. Hit .311 last year, and during spring training this year, the Twins signed him to a 5-year contract extension. It's been a long time since the Twins have not had a great center fielder. Kirby Puckett, Torrey Hunter, and now Denard Span.
Carlos Gomez a little line last year, but had the great speed in the outfield. Didn't always get a good read. Sometimes took a bad break. They went and moved him off the roster. They knew they had Span coming up. Played a lot in right field a year ago.
So the caught stealing is big. 2 walks and a single in the inning, and here comes Ned Yost, and he will bring in Farnsworth. So 2 on, 1 out, 4-1 Minnesota in the 6th inning, and the Chevy call to the bullpen. Here's tonight's AT&T trivia question. Last night, Danny Valencia became the first Twins player to hit a grand slam for his first Major League home run. Who is the only Royals player to do the same thing? This was my first contribution
I was
to the
going to say,
AT&T
you had that
trivia
with some
question.
confidence, like you know.
Yeah, I saw it.
Uh-huh.
So there's one clue. With this being my 12th year at the Royals, it's happened within the last 12 seasons.
Kyle Farns was in the ball game for the 35th time this year. His last time out was the Saturday afternoon game, and New York went just 2/3 of an inning in that one. Did get a couple strikeouts, also worked in a walk, but no damage done. On here with runners on first and second, one out. Twins batting top of inning number 6.
So Butera at second, Span at first, and Jason Repko takes a strike across the knees. Repko with 2 hits and was hit by a pitch last night, so on base 3 times. He is 0 for 3 tonight, and he is grounded into a double play. Nice backhand stop by Kendall. Told you earlier that Repko is a former first-round pick of the Dodgers, drafted as a shortstop, moved to the outfield. Had some pretty severe injuries in the Dodgers system, including breaking his back. He also had 2 hamstrings detach themselves from the pelvic bone. He had to have surgery to have them both reattached. He drives that into right center field. Coming around third is Butera, and on his way to third is Span. And Minnesota takes a 5-1 lead.
Well, Minnesota continues to hit well with runners on in scoring position in this series. Went 9 for 17 here last night. Repko continues to show that he's a Minnesota-type player as far as working the middle of the field, right center field on that ball away. Didn't try to pull it. Ball elevated a little bit. There's a solid base hit. That'll get another runner home. Twins now back up by 4.
And now Joe Mauer, 1 out of 3. In the first inning, he doubled and scored. So Mauer is 6 out of 8 in the series. Of course, the Royals would love a double play here. And you might say to yourself, yeah, fat chance with Joe Mauer up there, but he has grounded into 17 this season. Two balls, no strikes.
Might be a little tougher to get the ground ball double play right here because the runner on third base with less than 2 outs. He'll be looking for a ball he can hit in the air. A lot of guys that hit a lot of double plays. Of course, that's been a big item here in Kansas City with Billy Butler this year. But similar kind of guys, don't run all that well, but they hit the ball low and hard. Try to hit line drives. Many times that line drive ends up hit hard on the ground. If it happens to be one of the infielders, it'll be a double play ball. But there's the ball in the air.
6-1 Minnesota. So Mauer drives in his 8th of the series as Span comes to the plate. And there are 2 outs. Want to take a shot at the trivia question?
Wow.
You also saw it.
I'm sure I did, yeah.
Who was the only Royals player to hit a grand slam for his first Major League home run? I'll give you a hint. Final game of a series in Seattle, 2005.
John Buck.
Close. Catcher.
Uh-huh.
Getting warm. Tough hop. Betemit knocks it down and throws out Delman Young to end the inning. And the answer is Paul Phillips off of Matt Thornton. time of the year. Canoe, kayak, inner tube, and small raft floats are available for rental. Camping, RV sites, and cabins are also available for camping along the river. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Carl Pavano throws 98 pitches. That's his season average, but he usually has 7 innings to go with 98 pitches. The Royals knock him out after 5, and the Twins make a Chevy call to the bullpen.
And it's Ron Mayhay, the former Royal, in for the second consecutive night. He went here last night, 1 inning, gave up a hit, had 22 pitches in that outing, but not a problem for him. Good to get Pavano out of the ballgame maybe a little bit earlier than the Twins had anticipated.
One ball, one strike on Wilson Betemit, who is singled and grounded out to second base. He'll be followed by Alex Gordon and Unievsky Betancourt. Royals were scoreless in the first 4 innings against Pavano, and then coming through in the 5th. Chris Getz coming home on a Jose Guillen sacrifice fly. Mayhay got Betemit to chase one up and out of the zone, 1 and 2.
Royals had just 5 hits in this ball game, but one thing you were able to do against Pavano, which is why he came out, had 3 different innings where they had back-to-back base runners on. And you mentioned Ryan unable to score but 1 run, but when you get a guy in trouble time and time again, usually that 3rd time you get him, you're probably going to get him out of the ball again. So Ron Gardner goes to his bullpen a little bit early than he normally has to with Pavano out there. He's in position to win for the 8th straight time.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Pavano walked 3, and that's news this year. That's only the 2nd time all season, and we're talking about 21 total starts where he has walked more than 2. He has never walked 4. Twice he has walked 3, including tonight.
Important for both he and Liriano to go a lot of innings, 6, 7, maybe 8 innings if they can, because some of the other guys in the rotation from Minnesota really having a problem doing that. In fact, they were forced to go to a 13-man staff right around the All-Star break because so many of their starters were having early knockouts. They have kind of stabilized that a little bit. They've gone back to a 7-man bullpen instead of 8 relievers, and that's something Ron Gardner wanted to do.
Let's go back out to rivals, and here's Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you. Joined by Katie Butler, Billy's wife. You've been down there with all the wives answering the phones and talking to people. You say you've been having some pretty funny conversations and hearing from people all over the country?
Yeah, but I just actually talked to someone from Oregon. So he's a big Royals fan, was there in the World Series. So it was fun to talk to a lot of different people.
So he said what he told you, he wants to be here to hang out with Willie Wilson in the Hall of Fame building. He just needs to figure out how to get here.
Exactly. So I guess when he gets here, he'll pick up the rest of the package and head back. So hopefully he'll keep calling in.
You said you've been having a little bit of competition with some of the other wives, some bidding wars a little bit.
I know. I've had Emily Grinke sitting next to me, and we've been back and forth with each other with people on the phone. So I've won a few. She's gotten me a couple times. So, but it's all good cause. So it's been fun.
Yeah, keep raising the dollar figures. Now we've got the hitting lesson with your husband, Billy Butler, 3 kids, 10 to 18 years old.
Yep.
And, I mean, I've seen it before. Billy's great. He knows hitting, but he's really great with kids, too, not just your little daughter. Tell me about that.
Well, Billy is I'm raising 2 kids right now. Billy's just a big kid himself. So he really tends to work well with the young kids. He actually just gave one today, and I heard from somewhere that they actually got a private tour of the clubhouse from Billy. So I think that, he might be able to throw that one in there too.
So we're going to raise the ante here a little bit. We're going to sweeten the pot. So 3 kids get a chance to have a hitting lesson with Billy Butler, and then, their parent can come as well. So that's 4 that get the Crown Club seats. And then they'll get a chance to come and see the clubhouse.
Yep, it'll be really good. And I keep telling people on the phone, I said, show some love for Billy's lesson. Do you need a babysitter? Do you need someone to come mow your grass on Saturday? I'll throw that in. Throw an extra $100 bid in. But I don't know if they're taking me very serious. And Billy doesn't know about this yet, so it's our secret.
Is Billy going to come mow the lawn?
Yeah, I mean, he'll mow probably. Yeah, I think so.
If you tell him to go mow the lawn, you got to have your kids. If Billy's one of the kids at home. Okay, so $1,100 on Billy. It's worth much, much more. There's Billy on there right now, and I don't know that he knows this, but he's going to get 3 kids the tour and maybe go mow somebody's lawn as well. Maybe not. Probably not that, but
Hopefully, I don't know if we'll get that out of him, but he'll definitely have a good time with the kids when they come to do the batting lesson.
yeah, he really is interactive with the kids and has fun. And we forget sometimes too. Billy's been here so long. He's still 24 years old?
24, yeah. We're not the baby of the clubhouse anymore. We got our new pitcher. So
Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah, so it was a big celebration that he's no longer the official baby on the team.
That's the first time in quite a while, isn't it?
4 years now here that he's not the baby now. So.
All right, I didn't even think about that. A celebration. Billy is no longer the youngest on the team, but if you're 10 to 18, which means you got to be a few years younger than Sean O'Sullivan, or he could be out here doing this hitting lesson with somebody that's just 6 years younger than him. That's amazing.
Yes, definitely.
All right, well, Katie, thanks a lot, and good luck with the bidding wars with Emily Granke and some of the other wives. Great job answering the phones tonight, and we certainly want to encourage everybody to call in 816-504-4040 for that hitting lesson with Billy. But now you're not going to adopt these kids or bring them home, are you?
No, well, I was hoping I could send my little girl home with someone
with
too.
Them.
So maybe once in a while, and Billy, just to give me a break.
If you babysit, you could potentially bring Kenley home and Billy home and just take them.
It's a great deal. It's worth a lot.
All right, Katie, thanks a lot. Let's go back to you guys.
All right. I tell you what, I don't know if there's anyone who does more in the community than Billy and Katie Butler do. They are always doing something in the community.
I agree. And we got a new banker. She's the banker.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. So Gordon at first with 2 down. And Chris Getz against Ron Mayhay. Getz has made the most of his recent playing time. He's got his average up to 244. Another hit, another stolen base, and a run scored tonight. Let's take a look at the Twins Haynes comfort zone. And with Jesse Crane warming up, the Twins bullpen leads the American League with a 3.17 ERA this year. There have been so many pillars, if you will, and the Twins' success over the last 7 or 8 years. Great defense, good situational hitters, pitchers throw strikes, and an outstanding bullpen.
The Twins had it rolling early this year. By the end of May, they were already 11 games over 500, had a comfortable 4.5 game lead. But all of a sudden, the pitching staff started falling apart a little bit, mostly the starters, but relievers as well. And all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, they ended up 6th and 3rd chain, ended up in 3rd place, about 3.5 games back. So they had an 8-game swing from the end of May till right before the All-Star break. But all of a sudden, their starters are getting done. Their bullpen continues to get it done. They have a 5-run lead here tonight, so looking pretty good so far.
Looped out into shallow center. That'll drop in front of Denard Span. Chris Getz has another hit. Alex goes to 3rd. And they're runners at the corners with 2 down.
Chris acting like he likes this extra playing time. He got in a couple games in New York over the weekend. 2 for 3 here last night. A little cutter right there to the outside edge. Now he's way off balance, way out in front. Forced to reach for that ball, but back down near the end of the bat, but softly into short center field. Drops it in for a base hit. So let's have something going here, running with some 1st and 3rd, but 2 outs in the inning. Gordon could always get out and run the bases. He went to 1st and 3rd about as well as anybody on the ball club.
Make you hold your breath, though, sliding in head first, breaking his finger very early in spring training, sliding into second base head first. So Scott Pasednik gets another chance to extend his hitting streak to 14 games. That would tie a career high. Pasednik has grounded out to second twice, and he is lined out to first. Popped up. Going to be a tough play for Hardy. And he doesn't make the play. So that'll be a hit for Pasednik. He also gets an RBI, and it's 6-2.
put the ball in play, you've always got a chance to drop one in somewhere out there. A lot of room to the middle of the field. Ball not ain't all that hard. Gardner going to go to the bullpen there with the right-hander. Hardy has good range into the outfield. Looks like he's going to be able to make that play. Actually overran it a little bit. Ball went by him, right by his wrist. So Gordon able to score from third. Jets goes first to third. Royals have on the corners with still 2 outs and a new guy coming in.
Jesse Crane to face Jason Kendall.
Second reliever tonight is Jesse Crane in for the second time. He's second on the ball club in that category. Solid year for him again this year. Good strikeout to walk ratio. Does a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Just 3-round triples given up so far. Home City 234 against him. Crane features a fastball, hard slider, and a curveball. We'll see velocity now probably in the 92-mile-an-hour range.
Jason Kendall, nothing out of 2. Also has walked. Now 0 for his last 11. So over the past week, he's gone from one extreme to the other. Recently lost a long hitting streak during the Yankee series. He has faced Jesse Crane 5 times and is 0 for 5. No balls, 2 strikes.
Crane was one of the relievers that was in that mess for the closer by committee. Beginning of the year, he's been a late inning guy for the last 4 years for Minnesota. That was taken over early. He's back to his original role as a setup man, but a dependable one.
Scott Posednik last night stole his 30th base, matching last year's total. His career high is 70. That was back in 2004 for Ned Yost in Milwaukee. That's a Brewers record. He also has had a 59 stolen base season, 43 stolen bases, and a 40 stolen base season.
Crane very quick on that move to first base. So Posednik has about all the lead that he can get.
Former second-round pick of the Minnesota Twins out of the University of Houston, where he was both a pitcher and a shortstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kendall. Here at Kauffman Stadium back in 2005, Jesse Crane suffered his first loss in the big leagues. He had started his career with 11 straight wins, and that was a major league record for a reliever. Kendall off the end of the bat into shallow left. Young circled around, didn't take a great route, but makes the catch. The inning is over. The Royals add a run in the 6th. Straight game, Minnesota striking first. They get 2 in the first inning. Michael Kadire and Danny Valencia driving in Joe Mauer and Delman Young. Twins added 2 more in the third. Valencia again. Valencia, by the way, is 7 for 7 so far in the series. Minnesota with a 4-0 lead until the Royals got 1 in the 5th. Twins added 2 in the 6th, and the Royals getting another run in the bottom of the 6th. Michael Kadire, who has now hit in 12 straight games, leads off.
Farnsworth is hurt. See him bend over there after he delivered that pitch, but looks like he wants to stay in. Because he went DL a year ago with a groin injury, covering first base. And just, that's. I think they'll head out to see him.
Well, as Nick Kenny goes out to take a look at Farnsworth, Ed Yost will come out as well. It was in Houston last year when Farnsworth just went down to his knees with an injury that looked like was going to knock out the rest of his season. He was able to return. Well, the Royals already with bullpen problems. And now Farnsworth is trying to get the Royals through the 6th inning and pitch through the 7th. He got the first part accomplished, but 2 pitches to Michael Kadire in the 7th inning, and he's out. And it looks like Robinson Tejeda will come on, and he'll get all the time he needs to warm up.
We see some of the figures up here. Grounds crew experience $1,200, broadcast experience $3,500, deluxe autographed Hall of Fame package $1,000. Again, that includes a tour of the Hall of Fame with Willie Wilson. Suite night with George Brett, $7,000. Ultimate VIP batting practice and fireworks experience $1,000. You get to watch the fireworks in the dugout after the game. Hitting lessons with Billy Butler, that's for 3 kids, $1,100. Now includes a clubhouse tour as well. Outfield experience, kids' birthday party for $20, and they let you in early to have free reign of the outfield experience. That's $2,000. Then throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, $1,100. I want to tell you a little bit more about that because you see people throwing out the ceremonial first pitch all the time. You will get a chance to come on out, throw out the ceremonial first pitch. You receive an authentic MLB baseball to throw it out. It will be autographed by the Royals player or coach who catches the first pitch, plus a photo with that player or coach, 2 Crown seat tickets, dinner for 2 in the Crown Club, and the premium parking pass as well. Might be Brian Pena out there catching that first pitch. Who knows? But that certainly is a great experience. Get to hang out down there in the Crown Club. So it's at $1,100 right now. See if we can get some more people to throw in some money on that one. And hitting lessons for Billy Butler, $1,100. See if anybody can up the price on that because that is an amazing deal. 816-504-4040. Oh, we've got a little bit of action right now on the Ultimate VIP batting practice and fireworks experience. So we'll see what Laura updates there. That is up to $1,100 as well. Again, 816-504-4040. The phone lines will be open until the final pitch of the 9th inning. So either the end of the game or end of regulation 9 innings, then we'll close it down. But so far, guys, see a lot of high dollar figures on that board.
All right, thank you, Joel, as Robinson Tejeda gets ready for the top of the 7th inning after the injury to Kyle Farnsworth. By the way, those Crown seats that Joel was talking about, available for any remaining home game minus the Yankees series. And we're still trying to increase the bid on the broadcast experience, which includes more or less spending the whole day with us about the time that we get to the ballpark until we go home.
Everything we do, they do.
Michael Kadire with 2 hits and a 12-game hitting streak. Well, we'll see what happens with Kyle Farnsworth after tonight, but well, the Royals are not only losing players to injuries, and if they're not going on the disabled list, they're having to come out of the game or miss a few games, but they are veteran players. We found out that Gil Mesh most likely is going to have surgery on his shoulder after pitching a couple of games at Double-A, so he is done for the year. David DeJesus done for the year with surgery on his right thumb. This is the last time that Gil started with the Royals, is back on May the 25th. His numbers with KC, 1 good start, 1 bad start for Double-A Northwest Arkansas, so his season is finished. DeJesus done. Jose Guillen injured his left leg when the Royals were in Seattle, so that took something out of him. And now Kyle Farnsworth leaving the game with what appeared to be some sort of a leg injury.
Royals are hopeful that Gil would be back in the rotation about August 1st, but obviously that is not going to happen. This is game 12 of that stretch for 20 games in 20 days. We talked about the pitching had to be good then, and everybody's going to get worn out, especially the relievers. That hasn't happened. And also in that stretch was just 1 off day in 31 days. So the dog days are upon us. This so many times, Ryan, is when the good clubs get better and the teams that have a weakness, that becomes a little bit more evident. Teams head the other way.
Well, they might stop the fountains as Danny Valencia is out for the first time after going 7 for 7 with a walk to begin the series. Let's check the location. presented by Quick Trip.
And when Tahiti comes in the ballgame now, you're not as concerned as we were early in the year with his ability to find the strike zone. Found it right there, threaded the outside corner, got the late movement late. Second out in the inning. You always knew Tahiti was going to throw hard, but the ability to throw strikes on a regular basis was always an item for him. Not so over the last month and a half. Mike Farnsworth, his last time out was a Saturday afternoon ball game in New York. Was effective in that one. The only game that the Royals won in that 4-game set.
Two balls, one strike on J.J. Hardy. He has driven in one of the 6 Minnesota runs. Repko has driven in a run. Mauer, Kadire, Valencia 2, and Hardy. Got on top of it, and that's into deep left field. Out towards Morgan. And it's a home run for J.J. Hardy. So he has driven in 2 tonight. And that is his 4th home run of the year.
Ryan, you mentioned the home run numbers that he put up in Milwaukee. Had a couple of big home run years of 22 and 24. Now, not doing that this year, but he also spent some time on the DL. But we talked earlier about what he can do with a high fastball. That one about belt high. Just a little bit on the inner half. They got him as you have to stay on top of that ball to be able to drive it. Drive it he did.
Now Punto drives it to right. That'll be caught by Alex Gordon. So Minnesota adds a run and they lead by 5. (11-0) against the Orioles this year. Tampa Bay beats Detroit, so the Rays are 2 games back. Oakland and Texas tied in the bottom of the 9th. Rangers lead is 7.5 now in the West. Chicago, big winner at Seattle. And Boston and the Angels in the bottom of the 2nd inning with no score. A couple of teammates hooking up there, former teammates, John Lackey and Jared Weaver. Let's check in again with Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. We're looking for some late Royals action in this game and some late action here on this board. 816-504-4040. All these items still available to be bid on. You can call and talk to the Royals' wives. Katie Butler was just up here talking about that. Got the hitting lesson with Billy Butler. I think we're doing okay on that George Brett suite. If somebody wants to up to 7,000, that's great. You can hang with Ryan and Split and Denny and Bob and Frank and on. Royals Live. Hang up in the press club, down on the field, after the game, all of that. Fireworks, Hall of Fame experience, birthday party, you name it. We've got it right here. And so, again, want to encourage everybody. And just remind everybody it's for a good cause. Royals Charities does so much out there and is so involved in the community. So let's see if we can continue to raise some money. Also, on a separate note, guys, we've been telling everybody about Real Royals Trivia on Friday. Get here early. This is going to be during Hy-Vee Royals Live. We're going to have a Royals Trivia segment. We're going to pick 3 contestants. We're going to do this every home Friday, and Split's going to be out here as well. So Split, I don't know, you could ask the questions, you could screen the people, whatever you want to do, Split, you'll be involved in that one as well. Did you know that?
No, I hope I have some answers.
You might not. I stumped you last night with Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, that was about me.
That was about you. Don't do all the questions about you.
Neither does Frank.
Doesn't he?
Frank always says that he learns more about his career from us. That'll drop past Michael Kadire. It's 0-2 on Billy Butler.
No Dick Allen questions unless the White Sox are in.
Well, they're coming in.
Is it on a Friday?
Yes, it is.
Split, I got a question for you.
Can I have that day off?
Did you say that when you were playing against him, too?
No, I did not. That's why he put up the numbers.
Billy has 2 hits, and he has walked tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes against Jesse Crane, who came on and got the final out of the 6th inning. Carl Pavano went the first 5, gave up a run, 5 hits. Former Royal Ron Mayhay gave up a run, 3 hits in 2/3 of the 6th inning, and then Crane got him with a slider.
Ryan's maybe not surprised that their bullpen is awful tough right now because the starters are getting the job done for the most part. The ball starts on the plate, but the breaking ball took it outside. No way Billy could get after that. It's first out of the inning.
Ball 1 to Jose Guillen. He has driven in 1 of the runs with a sacrifice fly. He has also doubled and struck out. Into right center field. Jason Repko is there. 2 outs. No television tomorrow afternoon in the final game of this series. And then we begin a 4-game series on Fox Sports Kansas City Thursday night with the Baltimore Orioles. Brian Mattis against Kyle Davies. Hy-Vee Royals live at 6:30. First pitch is at 7:10. Orioles are having a tough year, but their hope is in some good young pitching. We heard about Brian Mattis last year. Didn't get a chance to see him. He was called up late, and the Royals did not see him when they played a brief 2-game series against Baltimore earlier this year.
Yeah, it's tough to see a lot of people with just a 2-game set there, but quickly back out of town, on for a 2-game set in Cleveland. It was a very short road trip for you boys. But a 4-game series coming up this weekend. It's the time of year where everybody looks at the ball club and say, are they a buyer or are they a seller? Because the Royals a seller, having traded Alberto Callaspo. Same time, you're kind of a buyer because you're looking to stock your farm system, maybe get something else you might need at this level. So, yeah, while you move a frontline player, you're also looking to improve your club overall. If not for right now, at least within the next year or so. So in a way, everybody's a buyer.
And the injuries the Royals have had to deal with lately were possibles to go to another team and bring in some of those young players. David DeJesus' name had been thrown around. Kyle Farnsworth has had to leave the game tonight because of an injury. He was rumored to be looked at, and he should be, the way he's been pitching lately. Bill Mesh trying to come back from a shoulder injury. The Royals announced today he will most likely have shoulder surgery and is done for the year. And then David DeJesus with the thumb injury, and he had surgery on that yesterday. Strange sound, and it's run down by Repko. Sounded like he hit that with a plastic bat.
finished up for him. Now, Victor Marte, who goes for the second night in a row, 22nd time this year, lofty earned run average. He's had a problem over the last month and a half. Really did well when Ed Yost first got here. Was working in important innings late in the ball game with a lead. Now the opponent's batting average is up over 300.
Look at the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the 8th inning. And Drew Butera takes high and tight. Butera 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 2-run 6th inning. Grounded to Bedamit. Oh, a good start for Marte, 1 away. There's Drew's father, Sal Butera, former Major League catcher, now a scout with the Toronto Blue Jays. Getting a chance to watch Drew, and he's just about 5 or 6 rows back from home plate in the scout seats.
I don't know if he's told Drew this yet, but told me yesterday that Drew is already a better player than he ever was. Sal played a while.
Yeah, he played, by my count, 9 years in the big leagues, 1980 to 1988. And he was with Minnesota in 1987 when they won their first world championship.
Drew never hit a whole lot coming to the minor league system. In fact, 5 years in the minors, a career .214 hitter. Now, those guys must be a good catch and throw guy and a good handler of a pitching staff, or they don't get near the big league line.
Denard Span working on a perfect night with 2 hits, 2 walks, and a run scored after missing the last 2 games because of food poisoning. Slice to left and right at Scott Posebnik. There are 2 down in the 8th inning.
You're a little bit surprised that that doesn't happen more often. I mean, all the traveling in different places that guys eat, even though this is the major leagues. I mean, you're on the airplanes a lot, late nights, in the ballpark. Cleveland had something happened in Cleveland this year to one of the visiting teams. Some of the food they had after the game, they kind of traced it back to who had this, who had that. They had 2 or 3 players down. You'd think that might happen a little bit more than it does.
Well, the guys are in very close quarters. You know, they're traveling together on the airplanes, and that can be one way to pass along some sort of a virus. On the bus together, clubhouses are bigger now than they were when you were playing. There's a nice play by the ball boy off the left field line.
That's why they have them down there, to make that play. First of all, you have to make sure that ball's a foul ball.
And there's a little hesitation just to make sure.
It's like just right.
I mean, you don't want to make all the highlight shows because you interfered with a live ball. You want to make the shows because you made a good play.
Cam Cisco was a longtime pitching coach here in Kansas City. He had a couple of young boys, and they got to be the ball boy down the line. One time, one of his kids, I remember it was Jeff or Chip, made a fine diving play. I mean, the ball was foul. I mean, it was hit like a bullet on artificial turf, and he took a headline dive and got a standing ovation. Dad was mad. Thought he was hot dogging. And Dad, that's a dad you don't want mad at you. He does that again, I'll kick his tail.
You know, nowadays they give the balls to the fans, but I remember back in my bat boy days, and you remember this when you played, you had to make a throw along the warning track to the ball boy next to the dugout. So there wasn't only pressure just fielding the ball, then you had to show off your arm as they were trying to save the balls, keep balls in play. Boy, Marte wanted that pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Repko.
Back in those days, they took 5 dozen baseballs down for the start of the ball game. And it wasn't very often they had to go upstairs and get some more unless the field had to be wet or something like that, or a lot of foul balls. But now they bring about twice that many down for the start of the ball game.
So after the no call, Repko gets a 2-out walk. There's Wayne Hadaway, who has been in the Twins organization forever and authored a very famous line within baseball circles. True story. He was the equipment manager, clubhouse guy in the minor leagues forever. And there was a minor league player, maybe it's happened more than once, who was really struggling, down on himself, realized that his career was coming to an end, and Wayne went up to him and put his arm around him. And Wayne calls everyone Big Fella, and that's his nickname too, Big Fella. Wayne put his arm around him and said, "Big Fella, it's not your fault. It's the scout that signed you." Great man, and so popular in the Twins organization.
He's got that mustache back a little bit.
Yeah.
Used to be a big handlebar.
Mm-hmm. Looked like Yosemite Sam.
Yeah. How old is he?
Oh, gosh. 119.
Okay. I'll buy that.
3 balls and no strikes on Joe Mauer.
So the minor league guy's going to lose his job. What about the scout that signed him? Does he lose his too?
I guess so. Just trying to console the guy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not your fault. You shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't even have been signed. Another famous line of his, minor league long bus ride, team lost, walk-off fashion, bottom of the ninth. Team's down late in the season. The bus is about 4 hours out of town, and all of a sudden he goes, "Bussy, Bussy, Bussy, stop the bus, stop the bus." And everyone's thinking, what happened, what happened? And the bus slows down, he goes, "There's the ball right there."
Yeah, we need that guy. Time to get off and go get it and run over him.
There's a happy Twins fan. He'll always remember Kauffman Stadium hitting his first big league foul ball, and off the bat of Joe Mauer. Repko will be running on this 3-2 pitch. And it's sliced up the line. A 2-hit game for Mauer, 7 in the series. And he's going to drive in another run. 9 runs driven in for Joe Mauer in the first 2 games. And was that a pretty swing or what?
Brian, he had 5 hits here last night. 4 of them went from the middle to left field. He's got a couple base hits here tonight. Both of them go the opposite way. The sacrifice fly goes to center field. He hits the ball as hard the opposite way as anybody in baseball today. That ball looks like it gets back in a swing a little bit, but he waits that long, and they talk about letting the ball get back to you. He does that as well as anybody. And now 2 more doubles than he had all of last year. So maybe this year isn't as bad as everybody thought.
Well, he started the series at 295, and now 7 for 9 in the series with 9 RBIs. It's 0-2 on Delman Young.
The guys that like to take the ball the opposite way are usually the toughest guys to pitch to, because if they're intent on doing that, all they have to do is wait and let the ball get back to them, back in the swing a little bit, and it's tough to get them off balance out on their front foot. So if they really want to go the opposite way bad enough, most of them will get it done.
Mauer's going to be waved home, and Posednik's throw will be cut off. Delman Young has driven in his 18th run in the second half. That leads the major leagues. And the Twins have a 7-run lead.
Delman Young having a huge month of July. Probably going to be the American League Player of the Month. I think that's 27 RBIs here in this month alone. Delman Young is a guy that hit barely over 200 in the month of April. About 250 in the month of May. They're getting hotter every month, and this is the hottest month so far.
Royals may have received a little bit of good news. Kyle Farnsworth had to leave the game as he was warming up in the top of the 7th inning. It appeared to be a leg injury. Now it's being described as a right hamstring cramp. Not a strain, not a pull, but a cramp. And because of that cramp, Robinson Tejeda had to come on, pitch the 7th inning, and now Marte in the 8th. That's going to get past Bedemeat. Ballboy gets out of the way. Delman Young races to the plate. Folks, the Minnesota Twins in their last 4 games have scored 46 runs on 69 hits.
Bedemeat playing deep and well off the line at third base, did everything he could to get in and get to the shortstop. Couldn't quite get there. Because he couldn't get there, unable to make the pick, it went off the side of his glove in fair territory, but bounded into foul territory. That's a pretty easy play to make it if you can get to that shortstop. If you can't get there, you really don't have much of an opportunity to see that ball landing about 5 or 6 feet out in front. Still would have been tough to throw out Kadire from deep in what would have been foul territory, but would have had an opportunity to do that. He's on second base. Yeah, the Twins are hot.
Wow.
Did a lot of that against the Baltimore Orioles, but they haven't slowed down here in Kansas City at all. 20 hits here last night. And tonight they're still adding on.
19 hits the afternoon before that in Baltimore. And they're doing it with Joe Mauer, who's hot now in this series, was hitting .295. Justin Morneau on the disabled list. Orlando Hudson on the disabled list. J.J. Hardy has been on the disabled list twice.
AT KCA played here last night. He's just off the DL. When they get their guys back, they might not be as good. You think?
Wow. Well, Danny Valencia began the series 7 for 7, and then he struck out against Tejeda in the 7th inning. So he's hitting .393, and he has another base hit. In this game, things can turn quickly. So the Minnesota Twins know this could stop at any time. It's been done against them. But just watching third base coach Scott Olger as he was waving home Kadire, it was almost like he felt bad doing it. Just got to send him home. But, man, Twins are just piling up the runs. First on the Orioles, now on the Royals.
Valencia showing everybody here in Kansas City he can go get a breaking ball to the outside part of the plate. That's going to get another reliever into the ball game. That guy at third's getting worn out. last night in a third of an inning. Tonight, 2/3 of an inning, 4 more runs, and responsible for a man on at first base. Now a lefty into the ball game. It's Dusty Hughes. He's out there for the second consecutive night, 40th time this year.
One ball, one strike on J.J. Hardy. He homered in his last at-bat, his 4th of the year. He has 2 hits and is driven in 2. Danny Valencia on Sunday afternoon set a new career high with 3 hits. Made it a new career high last night with 4 hits. And he's done it again tonight with 4 hits. As Hardy reaches, and the 9th man will come to the plate in the inning. That's an infield base hit for Hardy and his 3rd hit of the game.
Twins batted around twice here last night. They sent 7 men to the plate in another inning. They're going to bat around here tonight, inning number 8. Makeup will play at third base, but unable to come up with it. Rose had not made an error up to that point. Let's see how they call that one.
It is their 18th hit of the game. So in their last 3 games, 19 hits, 20 hits, and now 18 hits. Nick Punto is the 9th man to come up in the inning. He has Valencia at second, Hardy at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Punto 0 for 3. He has reached with a walk. There's another Twins player that has spent some time on the disabled list this year. Well, if we update the numbers, in their last 4 games, Minnesota has scored 47 runs on 71 hits. 71. And that's hit hard to left field. Posednik is there. It's a 4-run 8th inning for the Twins, and they have taken a 9-run lead.
On Boulevard Royals Live, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery joins me to break this game down. Highlights, reaction. We'll hear from Ned Yost. Hear more on Kyle Farnsworth. I know you guys just updated that, and much more coming up. And you know, guys, I should point out we were talking about Split versus Reggie Jackson. Split not so good against Dick Allen. Our friend Joe Posnanski was just saying, ask Split how he did against the Hall of Famer Carl Yastrzemski. How'd you do, Split?
Well, you're going way back there. I don't know. You probably know, don't you?
Of course I do. I looked it up on my handy-dandy iPad.
Uh-huh.
And there are Jose Majares' numbers, by the way, for those that are concerned with that. 2 for 24 against you, he was.
Wow.
No RBIs, no home runs, 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. You dominated Yaz.
I do remember one night that the ball got away, and I can't believe it missed his head. It scared me to death. I mean, the bat flew, the helmet flew, unintentional. I mean, he was absolutely buried in the batter's box. Fortunately, it was here in Kansas City, not Boston. I got booed out of that ballpark, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But hey, it was late in his career. I was pretty young, so maybe I caught him at the right time.
Maybe that led to the 0.83 batting average against you.
I still think it was that look.
I do remember that pitch. I don't remember getting him out that well, but yeah, I do remember, boy, that would have hurt. That would have not been good.
Well, you say the pitch got away from you. As Bedamete strikes out, he's 1 for 4. Now, maybe you weren't throwing at his head, but were you trying to come up and in on him?
Yeah, I was trying to come up and in, but not that much. I mean, he had an upright stance. Remember, he had the bat way above his head. Now, he dropped that a little bit as he got older. He wasn't as quick as he was early on, but I mean, his hands were still above his head, and I remember the ball going above his head and below his hands. So that was close.
Well, Blake Wood experienced some of that in the final game of the Yankee series, hitting Alex Rodriguez, and he was booed out of the state. And you were known as a Yankee killer. Did you start getting the boos before your first pitch and when you were announced after a while?
It was pretty neat right then, because in that ballpark, if you're doing well, they don't like you. But I think they respected our ball club. We had a lot of players that they didn't much care for because they did well there. So that was a fun rivalry. It really was. It wasn't about hurting anybody. It was about going out and doing your job, going about the game the right way. And so I think that booing was really a positive.
Sure.
But I didn't want to hurt Carl Yastrzemski. I mean, he was an icon at that time. That George Brett, that was his favorite player because his brother Ken had played with Boston. Ken was older than George. George got to go see them in the 67 World Series. Carl Yastrzemski was a Triple Crown winner that year. And he kind of emulated Yastrzemski a little bit. That was his favorite player. I might have got George mad at me if I hit him.
Alex is 1 for 3. He has scored one of the 2 runs. One ball, 2 strikes against Jose Majares.
You know, we were talking about Gordon. Gordon's trying to develop an outfielder. He was here early yesterday working in center field on a ball off the padded wall. And then he went to left field and worked on balls out of the corner. This afternoon he was in right field. They were hitting him fly balls because the sun was out. They wanted to work on him handling the ball in the sun. We talked earlier about no thought of moving him to third base after the trade at Castro. Rose is going to spend the next couple months trying to develop an outfielder. Not a left fielder, not a right fielder. You'll see him in both positions, but try to develop an outfielder. Rusty doing all the work with him. Something he would have done with him in Omaha, except after the Trey Hillman firing, Rusty got put on the big league club. And he's been here the whole time, so he didn't spend that time with Alex Gordon. He'll spend that time with him now, day in and day out. Alex is on the field by 3 o'clock every afternoon, working on drills in the outfield, trying to become a major league outfielder.
And I would think, too, if a guy is moving to the outfield and he is an athlete, as Alex is, and runs well, I would think you would want a guy to break in to a place like Kauffman Stadium where it's symmetrical, it's deep, he can run, he doesn't have to worry about some sort of a strange angle. I mean, how'd you like to break him in left field with Boston or in right field at Yankee Stadium? In fact, that's where he made his big league debut as an outfielder. But here, you can turn on the burners, just run, go get the ball, and you're going to get pretty good bounces off the wall. Left center field, Denard Span is there, and Alex is the second out of the inning.
It's kind of interesting talking to Rusty. He says the big problem that they have right now is everything Alex does, he wants to be quick with it. Because he's been in the infielder, ground ball got to him, had to quick get it over to first base. Quick actions, ball to the hand, ball to the throw. Everything he did was quick as an infielder. Now in the outfield, have a little bit more time. You have to stretch out that throw. You wanted to kind of load up, muscle up a little bit, a little longer in the move. Right now, everything is happening quick. throwing it like an infielder. He had a throw earlier tonight that wasn't all that strong from right field.
J.J. Hardy. Wow, was that close. Betancourt has an infield single, but even though he is safe, you have to appreciate that effort by Hardy.
The book on Hardy is he has outstanding range and a very strong arm. He showed it both right there. That's well out in left field, isn't it?
You know, the thing about that play, which is sometimes hard to appreciate, is how fast he was running. He was running away from his target. He had almost no time at all to find his target, and he made a perfect throw. Chris Getz has a 2-hit game and his 11th stolen base. Down 0-2 against Maharis.
Trying to talk about that play. Players just instinctively know where the field is. They know how far to the right they went. They know how deep they are in the outfield. They can make that play. They just have a feel, a complete feel for the entire infield. You can go airborne and make a throw really without even looking at it and come pretty close. But they're that aware of everything on the field, where they are on the field, how long that throw is, where they have an opportunity to make a play. It's one of the real thrills of Major League Baseball is watching the athletes go out and do things like that. That's part of the beauty of it. People like to come to the ballpark and see guys do things that they could never even think about doing.
And they make it look easy.
Oh, yeah. And probably do it again tomorrow. We talk about how fast the game is here. You see some games in the minor leagues, and then you come here, everybody has more speed. The arms are a little stronger. They're a little bit more accurate. Everything happens a little bit faster.
Getz strikes out. The Royals are scoreless in the 8th. Ninth inning. Royals and Twins have gone past the 3-hour mark. And the Twins with 11 runs on 18 hits. Drew Butera, who is 1 for 4, leads off. Then Denard Span and Jason Repko against Dusty Hughes, who got the last out of the 8th inning in relief of Victor Marte. Bruce Chen went 5 1/3. He gave up 6 runs. Kyle Farnsworth 2/3 scoreless. Left the game because of a cramp in his hamstring. Robinson Tejeda gave up a run in the 7th. Marte gave up 4 in the 8th. Well, the Minnesota Twins are going to pass the Royals, by the way, in team batting average. Two teams coming in tonight tied for the top of the American League. Both were at 280. And the Twins have doubled the Royals' hit total so far tonight. Lined into right center field. And it's going to roll deep. Butera goes into second base with his 3rd double. That's just the way I taught him. There's his father, Sal.
Actually threw to him to help establish that.
Here's our Chevy plays of the game tonight.
Bruce Chen had a couple of pickoffs here tonight. The first one, the very first inning, got Denard Span. That goes 1-3-4 on the putout. And then later, got another one hung out. It's actually caught stealing, but it was a pickoff. It was Nick Punto.
One ball, one strike on Denard Span. He's been on base 4 times tonight. Let's go back out to Rivals and check in with Joel one last time.
Well, we got last call, guys, as the auction will officially end at the end of the 9th inning. Final pitch of the 9th inning. 504-40-40, 816-504-40-40. You can bid still on all of these items. The numbers are certainly looking really good. We will update you with the final numbers on Boulevard Royals Live. But for now, Grounds Crew Experience $1,200, Broadcast Experience $3,500, Deluxe Autographed Hall of Fame Package $1,100, Sweet Night with George $7,000, Ultimate VIP Batting Practice and Fireworks $1,200, Hitting Lessons with Billy Butler $1,100, Outfield Experience Kids Birthday Party for $20,000. That might be the best deal out there. $2,000. Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, $1,500. Still have a chance to get in on it, so we encourage everybody. As we've got, it's almost over, but still till the end of the 9th inning, 504-40-40, and the players' wives are still downstairs right now taking those calls, all benefiting Royals Charities. Guys?
Trying to do some quick math. Joel, is that $18,500? Is that where we are?
Use that Minnesota education and figure it out. I don't know. What do we got? 35, 47?
Is that what they taught you at Wisconsin, to turn it around on the other guy?
I didn't go to math class. Journalism. That's what I learned in journalism class.
Good point. I think that was 18.5. Is that what you got?
We get 17.9 early, but a couple of those numbers moved up. I didn't total that one up tonight. A whole lot more than they had at the start of the game.
Let's see, that's
27.58.
Oh.
12.8.
1-2 on Jason Repko. Well, up and down the lineup, Denard Span on base 4 times, a run scored. Repko on base twice, run scored, RBI. Joe Mauer, 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Delman Young, 3 runs scored, an RBI, couple of hits. Repko strikes out, 2 away. Michael Kadire, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Danny Valencia, another 4-hit game after getting his first in the big leagues last night. He's driven in 3. J.J. Hardy, 3 hits, a home run, 2 runs driven in. Nick Punto hitless, he has a walk. And Drew Butera, 2 hits and a run scored. And for the second straight night, it'll be Jose Morales batting for Mauer in the 9th.
And it's getting to be the time of the year where everybody starts watching the scoreboard a little bit more in the out-of-town games. And right now, the people in Chicago on the south side not liking us here in KC at all. Chicago came into play today, a game ahead of these guys. That should be close the rest of the year, shouldn't it?
Should be.
Don't know what's going to happen to Detroit with all the problems that they have with their frontline people.
Butler to Hughes. Twins are scoreless in the top of the ninth. Royals are down by 9 to the bottom of the ninth. Win. Beat the Royals by 18 runs last night. They're ahead by half of that tonight, but still 11-2 to the bottom of the ninth inning. And getting some work for John Roush. He doesn't have a single save opportunity yet in the second half.
He was awfully good in the first half, saving 20 out of 24 opportunities and holding opponents to 283 average. Couple wins, one loss. Talking about the race in the Central Division, the Minnesota Twins have 9 games left with Chicago, only 3 of those in Minneapolis, so schedule advantage goes to Chicago. Only have a half a dozen games left with Detroit, 3-3 home and away.
Chicago, by the way, has won tonight. They beat Seattle 11-0. Scott Besednik drove in a run with a single in the 6th inning, giving him a 14-game hitting streak. That ties his career high. First did that in 2003 with the Brewers. And now he has a 2-hit game.
Well, if you're on the Royals bench, you're always thinking about positive things that are going to happen. You say the comeback starts right now. There are probably a few doubters around the ballpark, but you got to hope for the best. Here's Brian Pena.
Well, it would be the greatest comeback in Royals history if they were to go on to win the game. Brian Pena in the 6th inning took over for Jason Kendall last night, was 0 for 2 with a line out to deep center field.
The rally glove. It's a difference maker right there.
You and I saw a game together in Oakland. Back to Roush. Out at second base. And the Twins turn a double play.
Hopper back to the mound about belt high, so he's able to get some leather on that, took it into the midsection. Important thing, keep it in front of you, keep it close by your feet so you can get an opportunity to recover on that. Able to turn it over just in time. Swat in Oakland.
We saw a game in Oakland where the A's were ahead 12-0 early in the game, and remember the Royals came back and tied it. The A's still won the game, and that was an American League record 20th consecutive victory for them, but coming back from 12 only to lose. The Royals' largest come from behind win is 9 runs. That was at Milwaukee in June of 1979. I think you had a hand in that game.
Wasn't it just then, huh?
And they were down 11-2.
What year was that?
That would have been 1979. Royals won 14-11. Butler to right, and Repko runs it down. The Minnesota Twins have won their 4th consecutive game. They've scored 47 runs on 72 hits in their last 4. 11-2 tonight. Carl Pavano wins his 8th consecutive decision. We'll be right back.